Yes, we are. Well,
We are.
hello.
Hello.
It's good to see that you still have daylight. That
I know. You're are you East Coast time?
yes.
Got it. So
So
9
it's not
p.m.
9 p.m. here. Yes, and you are not East Coast.
I'm the opposite. The opposite. Yes.
Yes.
Um I haven't been on alive in what feels like forever. So I've got to get situated with StreamYard.
No worries, guys. Courtney just legit got home, right? Like a second ago.
A second ago. I had the best thrift day ever.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to hit us with some spoilers?
Um honestly I can't remember, but I swear I probably got 100 items in 4 hours.
Wow.
And the one item I was pretty excited about was, I mean, I'm excited about a lot of it, but I can't remember any of it. One of the last things I picked up was a Dosa dress, which is a pretty expensive, kind of like one of those minimalist lag and look brands, but it should sell for around 150. It's a brand that like thrift stores wouldn't recognize. So, anyways,
Now this was at the bins, right?
no, I was gonna go to the
Oh,
bins, but I decided to not go as far because I was worried about being late. So
well, I'm sorry I kind of ruined your thrifting plans.
no, no, it worked out perfect. I was just like, if I run into, which it was funny because we have elk, wild elk in my area, and
Really?
yeah, and they like we don't have any traffic at all, but occasionally you hit like a wild animal and it's crossing the road and it does not care about you one bit, and it will just
Oh yeah.
go as slowly as possible, or an occasional tractor, and you're like, well, okay. Anyways, so I did see some elk on the side, but they weren't in the road. So I made it.
It's funny. I was in Elk County, PA last weekend. And I
I saw
saw
you
some
post.
elk.
I
Yeah.
know I was gonna send you a comment and say like, welcome to my neighborhood, but
I legit thought like elk were like only like regional to us. I don't think it was like a California thing. Okay.
they're they're different kinds. The ones here, there was um a farmer that a ranch that they brought in some, I think they were from the Rocky Mountain elk. So they brought them in from Colorado, and then the ranch decided to let them loose. And that was like, I don't know how long ago. And so
that's
a
that's
whole, a whole
that's
bunch of
just
elk,
okay.
yeah, just went wild. And then yeah, they're protected here. So there's a couple communities here that they just wander, and they'll like, there was one time where I had 50 elk on my property, and it's just insane.
Wow.
It's insane because I mean you've got like the big boys with like the huge racks,
Yes.
you have the little babies, and you've got the ladies, and then during the elk rut they have this really crazy loud screaming sound that the men do to get the
To
ladies to
attract
come.
the females, like it.
Yeah, and it's so loud. It's so crazy. So, anyways,
Do you want to show us the scream real quick or no?
show what?
Do you want to portray the scream? What it sounds like?
Oh, do not. You could Google it. Just Google elk rut scream, and there's
Yeah.
some videos on YouTube. But it's so alarming when they're close by your house, and it's usually like dawn and dusk. So it could be at like 6 in the morning, and all of a sudden you just hear this like huge, just yeah, it's yeah. They're getting frisky. That's basically what they're doing
Uh,
or trying to.
all right. Let's say hi to some of the people here early. Danica
Yeah.
was here, but she said she's going to catch the replay. Chatty replay.
Oh.
So as what it's going to be.
Oh.
This is going on, Ginger Marvin. Hey, Christopher. Hey, Victor Philly. My favorite name on YouTube, Fartsack Jack, is here. What's
Oh
up,
man.
Fartsack Jack?
Did he used to go to Tommy and Tracy's lives?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in there. Remember those lives? Remember how good those lives? I remember.
Those were the best, and Tommy's in here. I know I saw him.
Oh
So
yeah,
Tommy.
he's bragging about your no, or not bragging. He's complaining about your green screen.
Oh. Can you hear wind, by the way?
No, can you hear my wind?
No. Oh
Okay,
gosh.
good. I legit have a fan blowing on me right now. so,
Okay.
so if my beard goes like all Marilyn Monroe, it's for that
There's a
reason.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know what it is like. There's probably hot too. It's like it's been 100 here for about like a week straight, so it's been hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrible.
What's up, Joe? Hello, Sal. Hello, Meg, Ken, everybody else. Thank you for being here. Carrie is here. She says she loves your content, the clothes, the
Oh,
travel, the Luna, everything. So there you go. She's a big fan.
the Luna. She's back there. She was inside all day, so I'm letting her sit outside.
What's going on, Hamlet and Lissa and everybody else? Ping, Christy. Thank you guys all for being here. It's hot AF in Idaho. It's hot everywhere, Sal, man. That's what it is. So, people don't know who you are, Courtney. Introduce yourself in 14 words or less.
Okay. I live in California. I'm a reseller and I'm a YouTuber.
I think that was actually pretty good. That was not terrible.
And I would just like to throw in, people throw me in the posh category because technically I started there, but I'm very anti-posh, and I actually sell more on eBay. So I'm very team eBay.
And whatnot. Right.
Very not. We're opposite coast and we're opposite on that. But
I don't think we're that too far apart, to be honest.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I did a whole video on it, partly because I always have to think of things for these chatty work with me as like a topic.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not joking. It was like 3 messages a day or comments a day of people saying like, oh, when are you going to join Whatnot? And you'd be great on Whatnot and you could sell so much. And it was like, I'm so tired of hearing about this. So I did explain it. And then I still got people who were just like, a few people who just, I don't even think they listened to what I said. I mean, keep in mind, I'm 2 hours from any major thrift store. So to get additional product is really hard for me. And if I lived 5 minutes from the bins, I would probably 100% be on Whatnot. But to me, it's a lot of different reasons why I'm not doing it. And I don't knock people for liking it or wanting to do it, but there's just this weird pressure about it. And I find it a little creepy.
That part I agree with you off, and it's also the part where you said that there was content creators that you used to watch, and then all they would do now is just promote their Whatnot streams, and you stop doing it. I am the same way with you on that one. There's been a couple people that I unfollowed because all their Instagram now is just follow me at Whatnot. I'm doing a show again, and it's like every 24 hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this, and so I definitely feel you on that one as well.
And I mean, if you really like someone, I'm sure it doesn't phase you or bother you. But yeah, I think there's this fine line of self-promotion. And I think that part of the problem is that if you're self-promoting your everything that you do 50 times a day, and then you throw on Whatnot and you're trying to build something new there, it's exhausting. And I think that I don't know. I mean, funny enough, I was just looking today and I was like, I actually think that there are so many people who are spending so much YouTubers who are spending so much time on Whatnot, and they're making less YouTube content, and it's actually helping my views. So I'm all for it.
I think same here.
Yeah. So I think there's something for everyone out there.
Maybe you should make a video say Whatnot's the best. Everybody should go to Whatnot.
I know. Everyone should stay there and just let me have my little YouTube.
Next chatty work with me. How much I love Whatnot and how everybody should be doing.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
3 hours from the bins. Do you live with Sasquatch? Yeah, that's actually was one of my questions. Because I seen in your background sometimes, like when you're looking over, probably where you're sitting. No, where you're sitting now, or it's like a bunch of hills. Yeah, that. Yeah. What is that?
So that's all an area called Tejon Ranch. And Tejon Ranch is this, it's privately owned, but it's basically in between, it's just north of LA. It's one of the largest privately owned pieces of land, I think, in the US. They do have hunting lodges out there. So they do have, Joe Rogan used to hunt in Tejon Ranch, and it's pretty exclusive and kind of pricey to do that. They do have a couple communities, but this all out here is not going to be established. I mean, it is the way it is. So yeah, I'm on the edge of the greater Tehachapi area, and I have some stuff to look at or not look at.
And you get to like wake up to that every single morning. I'm not jealous at all, by the way. It's a decent view. I can show you my warehouse too. I can show you all the concrete in my warehouse is also gorgeous.
Yeah, but how much? Okay, do you have a basement? Is that where all your stuff is?
No, this is a warehouse.
It is a warehouse.
Yeah. You think my basement is 4,000 square feet? I
Yes, so people
don't.
always say basements, and basements isn't a thing in California. We just don't have them here. And so every time I see someone that's like resellers showing off their storage, and it's like they have this, 2,000 square foot basement. It's like, oh my gosh, why don't we have basements here?
I'm sure you have enough room to build a 2,000 square foot shed somewhere back there too.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a tough shed that stores my inventory, but it's only like 300 square feet. Things cost
Now,
money.
are you close to like wildfire area too, where you are, or no?
I mean, that's pretty much anything on the West Coast. I mean,
Okay.
even Beverly Hills has burned in the last couple of years. So I mean, it's just, yeah, most of the West Coast we just don't get rain during the summer. So we go, 6 months out of the year without any rain, and it just drives up. So like what I look down, this drop below me is about 2,000 feet below me, and then it kind of keeps going down. I think a lot of the worst fires in California and the West Coast are actually in the pine line, where it's really dense pine trees, and that's really hard to put out. Fires around me, yes, we do have some pines, but it's more grass fires, so they go quicker, and
not as deadly, obviously, right? If it's just grass, right?
the problem is the wind will pick up, and so it'll move really quick, and that's what gets really scary. But yeah, I mean, fire insurance, I got kicked off my homeowner's insurance every single year. And it wasn't because of my specific area. It was because these insurance companies would come in, they would insure a whole bunch of Californians, and then there would be some massive fires, and they would have to pay out, and then they'd be like, we don't want to insure anyone in this area again. So they would cancel us. So, yeah, it's high fire risk anywhere here. And even if someone lives in, like I said, Beverly Hills, there's still fire risk.
That's crazy. Yeah. Have you ever like been close to one, or like inside one, or like evacuated from one?
I was evacuated here. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. I think I did a video on it. That was when I was doing like vlogs on my second channel, not the car camping stuff. Yeah, that was terrifying. It was during what's called a red flag day, which is basically, it means the wind, and we have really low humidity here. So, which I appreciate, but it means that things are just really dry because we don't have any humidity in the air. And so when the humidity levels at a certain point, really, really low, like, 10% or less, and then the wind, they have these days that they call red flag days, where basically it's like, if something starts burning, it's not a good day. And so that was one of the days, and they shut off our power. So they do these planned power shutoffs with our power companies here. And most of my neighbors have generators. I don't. I just usually lose stuff in my fridge. And sometimes they last like 2 to 3 days. It's not the best thing, but they're trying to make sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They're trying to basically, like, if the wind picks up and it's a really not a good day with the weather, if a fire breaks out or if a pole goes down, that can start a wildfire. Like, that's how most of these have started. These big ones is like a pole goes down and then starts a fire. Or like, what was that one that was in California, the gender reveal party? Did you hear about that one?
I heard about that one. Yeah.
They're just absolute morons. Like, I would love to have a fire pit on my property, but I don't. I have a neighbor that chooses to have one, and it's like, I don't care how safe you think you're being. Like, why would you even want to? I don't know. It's just
risk it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for everyone. So, anyways, but yeah, it's a risk. But I mean, we don't have tornadoes, we don't have hurricanes, and we have earthquakes.
Just earthquakes and wildfires. Just two of the worst four, and droughts.
It's only getting worse.
You guys are going to like disconnect soon, right? Is that supposed to happen like in like 100 million years? California was like disconnect and become its own thing.
Yeah,
just float somewhere. In
like
ocean.
San Francisco and LA will pass each other.
Yeah, there we go. See,
yeah.
So what the problem is, right? It's okay. It's just a little fire.
We'll be an island at some point, and then we'll all have waterfront property. All of this will be water. It'll be great.
There we go. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you guys all for being here. If you guys have any questions for Courtney, put them in the chat, and I will get to you, hopefully. So, tell me, you have 3 channels, right?
Yes.
You want to describe what they are?
Well, the reselling one, that's the main one.
Yes.
The second one was called City Girl Unplugged, and when I first started it was partly because I think people start watching you and then they have questions, and I didn't want to put too much personal stuff on my reselling channel. So I thought, well, just start a second channel and do some vlogs. And then COVID hit, and it's like, well, when am I going to film myself, like doing it at home? And it just got really hard to think of content. And so I started car camping. I don't know how long ago, year and a half ago. And it was a way for me to still kind of get out of my house, but not really be around too many people. And I watched people on YouTube of like tips and tricks and all that stuff. And so I flipped that channel from basically like vlogs to car camping.
Yeah.
And then my third channel is real estate, which is the new one. And that one's actually, I'm not worried about monetization there. I'm not worried about anything other than just people finding me, and people are finding me. So if I can, sell a few houses each year, and I just have to make some videos, a couple videos each month, it'll pay for the time. So
yeah, I'm sure the commission check is a little better than the couple pennies you might make if you become monetized.
It's funny. Someone just sent me a message, and they're like, I was just thinking about doing a YouTube channel because I thought it would be a good revenue stream. And I'm thinking, I don't think many people realize that it does not become worth your time sometimes it never becomes worth your time.
Yeah.
But I think there's some image of like, we're all making millions of dollars on YouTube, or even
wait, you're not?
But I mean, are you transparent about like, the time involved and what you're actually getting paid? It's a lot of time.
Well, thankfully, like my graphs are kind of like mixing, and I'm spending less time and getting paid more. So I'm getting pretty good at it now. But like in the beginning, I was spending 8 hours on a video that made me $10. so yeah, definitely not good. But like I say, if you see like the long haul in it, it's definitely worth it. But I do have the same people asking me like, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel because I want like viewer sales, and I'm like, no, like just don't start a channel. Like if that's your goal, just to get viewer sales, don't.
Well, the amount of viewer sales you can get in the time that you spend making the YouTube content, if you just list more items during that time, list an extra 50 items each week, you'll make way more money than. And I mean, I have some friends who have had channels for almost as long as me, and I really like their content, and I loyally watch them. And they're not even at 2,000 subscribers in 3 years, and they're passionate about it. They like sharing their journey, but they're making $50 a month, and they're consistent. And there is no guarantee with it. And even if there's a guarantee that you will grow, it usually takes time, like you said, that long tail.
Yeah. Tommy wants to apologize for all the creepy voicemails he left on your real estate channel.
Oh my gosh, Tommy, I swear. Some people were like, I got this one comment. This one was like, you're kind of making a big deal out of this. In business, it's normal for people to want to call about anything related to business. So, I don't think it's weird that she found you. And I'm like, what's weird about that situation was so my name is public now because of the real estate stuff, but my first name is not the most common. Courtney's not the most common name. And then on top of that, she used my middle name, which is Anne with an E, as her. Like, that's so specific.
That is pretty creepy.
As her Poshmark, not even close to her real name. And it's like, this is all over a $20 item. That was, it's just mind boggling. But it was also just kind of the creepiness of the call, like asking me, what did I think about this item? Poshmark doesn't even have a phone number public. Like, why? I don't know. And also, I think what's creepy is like, this woman lives 2 hours away from me. She can drive in her car. She can find my address, and she could be some psycho murderer. Like, that's the creepy factor, I think. Tommy, you live too far away. I mean, I don't
know. You just catch a flight and get an Uber. How much would an Uber cost from LAX to your house?
We don't have
hundreds. You don't have Uber to your house?
We don't have Uber or Lyft where I live.
Wow, you live like how? Okay, what's your population? Talking about like hundreds?
No, so I live. I mean, it depends on how you describe it. My community is 2,000, but I'm 20 minutes away from Tehachapi, so we can kind of consider this whole area Greater Tehachapi, and it's kind of different communities that we kind of. So the whole area is like 30,000, but most of that is a 20-minute plus drive from me. So.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
But
There's no.
Bob wants to know if California becomes an island, would that help with water supply and drought?
Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny to me with the like drought stuff and the water supply is I can't remember, but it's something like 75% of all vegetables that are consumed in the US are grown in this valley below me. And so that's where a lot of our water goes, is to these big ag farms. But yet that's the food that feeds the US. So I feel like everyone should kind of contribute, maybe send us some water, like we're giving you your food over on the East Coast.
I'll send 1 gallon over tomorrow.
No,
There was I forgot who I remember on one show I heard said people saying like the people that have a surplus of water, like like the Pacific Northwest, it gets rain all the time. Wouldn't it be smart for you guys to develop some kind of like under the ground tunnel system or something where you can get their excess water to come to you? Like wouldn't that just makes a lot of sense?
I know. And I mean, it's interesting because Australia has some really gnarly fires too, and they've got some droughts and stuff like that. And
oh, the word gnarly. I haven't heard that word in a minute.
Well, you don't use that word? Does anyone use that word?
I think it's like a West Coast thing, not like an H thing. So you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. It's sad to watch, but I mean, yeah. But we have also had a number of El Nino years. We just need a couple of El Ninos. Yeah.
There you go. Bob uses gnarly, so there you go.
Oh, good. Thanks.
All right, and Kayla uses gnarly, so there you go. So
good. Okay.
You got 2 good people in your corner.
I don't think I've ever actually spelled it. Is that how it's spelled?
I use or it could be like that. Gnarly back in the 80s. Okay.
It might be an old thing. I have plenty of words to use. Oh my gosh.
Here we go, Krillin. Krillin loves your last name, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I swear he supports a company that has ruined my life. Fine.
It's all good, right?
It's fine.
So Jess been to Cali. She says hiking in Malibu was amazing. And horseback riding in the Hollywood sign.
I did that one with some friends for their 21st birthday. That was
sounds expensive.
Did you go to a margarita place and then turn around after a few margaritas and hold on for dear life? That's what our trip was.
I've never ridden a horse in my life. Can you believe that? I've ridden a camel and an elephant, never a horse.
Okay, I've been on an elephant. Where was the camel?
Israel.
Oh wow, where was the elephant?
Israel.
Oh wow.
Okay. The elephant was out of place. Huh?
Which was better, the elephant or the camel?
The elephant had way more room for me. It was like a couch compared to like the camel being like a stool.
Was it bony?
Yeah.
Camel?
Yeah. It's not the most comfortable.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I miss the juicy. Yes, you did, Jen. We talked about the juicy stalker woman already.
Oh, jeez. And that's the weird thing about those like chatty work with me is sometimes like you just need something you can talk about for 45 minutes. And in all honesty, I was actually going to talk more about the YouTube side of things of like when I started the chatty work with me, like they're unedited. So I like set a timer and I'm going to talk and I'm not going to cut anything out.
And sometimes the timer's off.
And sometimes it's usually because I don't have my sound on and then I miss it. And then I'm like, oh,
I remember like your first couple, usually like a kitchen timer that was like off by like 5 minutes.
I did. What is this? Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think that's just it. Like you're just looking for something that you can confidently feel like you can talk for a while. And so that was supposed to spark the whole concept of like, am I a scammy person? Because this person kind of accused me of being deceptive or something with my listing. And then they went to the crazy lengths of trying to call me and talk to me and all this weird stuff. That's where I have a very hard time with that. Like, none of us are perfect, but I feel like I've never met you, but I've watched enough of your content and we've interacted enough where I feel like I could genuinely say you're a good person.
Oh,
you know,
we could end this show right here. That was great.
No, but like you can just get that sense. Like Tommy and Tracy, you watch them every week and you're just like, they are genuinely like honest, good people. Like I want
I
to
still didn't
have,
get those vibes from them, but sure.
but there are a lot of people on YouTube that I do not get that sense from. And
I feel like the longer I am on YouTube, the smaller the number of Jamie people becomes.
yeah,
Because a lot of people like fool you in the beginning, and then slowly like,
it's
oh wow,
sometimes
that's
the
who you
ones
actually
that
are.
seem to be like the most helpful and the nicest that are actually the worst ones to me. In my
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like you're just playing this like relatable card, and I'm just a normal person. And then I'm like, no, you're not. This is all manipulated. Like it's intentional.
Yeah,
But
I feel you there. Tell me a little more about these chatties. Where'd you get the idea from? Did you just came up to your head one day, like, "Hey, I want to do this," or did you have the idea for a while? Were you afraid to start making them because you know it's gonna like not be the best for your channel wise?
well, it started out not being the best for my channel because I think people were like, it's an hour long, and I don't
Yeah,
think people understood what they were going to be about. So it started messing with my other videos, and I was kind of concerned. But the feedback was so positive. So Tracy's actually a big reason I started them. I occasionally watch this guy. He's called MD. What's his channel name? I can't think of it. Anyways, he will show himself studying for he's trying to be a doctor, so he has to do a lot of studying. He will have this like ambiance background, and he will show himself on a computer for 2 hours, play this ambient music, and it's super chill. And even though he's not talking and there's nothing going on, it's just you feel like you're kind of working with someone.
hmm
And so I will put him on, and I don't have to think about the music. I don't have to think about anything. And then every once in a while I'll look up and I'll be like, he's working and I'm working, and I feel less alone.
yeah,
And so I thought, well, why don't I do that from a reselling perspective? And people can see me reselling work, which I know people just are curious. And I'm trying to do more of that content to show people like what the actual work looks like, not just like, yay, here's cute stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's usually a lot of hard work. And I think that that's important to show. But I tried one, and I did 2 hours, and it was just me with ambient music and me working.
Yeah.
And while I think people liked the concept, most people were like, well, I wanted to listen, but there was
That
nothing.
was your first one too, right? I think that was the first one you did. Was that right? If I remember.
Yeah.
Correctly. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was talking to Tracy, and I was like, I'm off with this. Like, I feel like there's something with this that we all kind of work alone for the most part, and we want that connection on YouTube.
yeah.
But come here, Boo. My neighbor's dogs are out, and so she's starting to holler at them. She tries to get their attention.
I can hear it.
Yeah, that's
I wasn't sure if that was your dog or the elk. So I don't know.
it's all the above. So I tried that one, and it got decent views, but the watch time was pretty terrible, and it's because people weren't getting any value out of it. So then I thought, okay, well, what if I do this, but I'll talk about a topic? And the first topic was why I hate Poshmark, which I can talk about for like 12 hours. Not hard.
That could be a whole series.
That could be my whole channel. But I think when you actually listen to me, it's not like, of course you want someone to click on it. So I'm going to put why you hate Posh or why I hate Poshmark. But when you actually listen to me talk about it, it's not that I'm bashing Poshmark, or, I mean, there's pros and cons. I'm just it's about a topic. And so I got so much positive feedback from the second one, and people were just like, I felt like I was working side by side with you. And I felt like I had a coworker. And I think the hard thing is that when you talk that much, there's more to criticize. So I could say something that upsets people that I would never say in a thrift haul or a thrift with me. But in that, I'm legit rambling for a solid hour, and I go mental.
I don't think people understand also how hard that is. Just to not stop talking for an hour straight and just like at least make semi-coherent statements.
Well, and I've learned there's a couple tasks I can do really well while talking, and there's some that I just can't. So I've learned the hard way a little bit, but no, I think
you're really good at lint rolling and talking. I think you mastered that
one
part.
And steaming are my favorites. Yeah, those are easy because there's no like brain requirement. I think a lot of people just like the raw unedited version. They see that I'm working, I'm talking, I'm not going to edit anything out. I don't know. But they are well received with an occasional person that just has their feelings hurt. But that's any video. So
I like this. Carrie said, I feel that's alone is really why I started a channel, to find a reseller tribe. It's a great concept. Yeah, and I don't think people talk about this that much. Is that like reselling is probably one of the most like loneliest jobs in the world.
yeah,
it's like,
especially with COVID,
yeah,
a lot of us, I mean, half my time as a reseller has been when the country was shut down. I mean, to a degree. My area didn't really believe in that too much, but yeah, it is. I think, yes, having a channel, even if it's not for money, just to have a sense of community, I think is really nice. And I also think that this sounds weird, but like if someone has a channel and I can see what they talk like and what how they interact, when I go to meet them in person, I feel like we're a more balanced level versus meeting someone that doesn't have a channel. It's like, okay, I don't know anything about you,
yeah,
maybe just a little picture, but like that's where it's like I know that if you ever came to California or if I were ever in your neighborhood, we would meet up and we would have a grand time. Same as Tommy and Tracy, same as, a number of people. And that's because we can kind of see how
yeah.
we are. So
It's very true. We met up actually last year. It was me, Tommy, a lot of Josh,
yeah.
and Sandy Baker John meet up. And a lot of us never met before. It was the first time, and it was like, oh, I actually know exactly who you are. I know what you're going to be like. And they were exactly the same people they were online and the same people they were in person. So,
who was your favorite? It's okay. It's just between
definitely
me and
not Tommy.
you.
I feel like I would have probably been more like superstar shocked by John if I didn't meet him before. But I met John a couple months prior, Cincinnati Picker. So I actually I talked to him already. So I wasn't.
He seems like such a chill, laid back guy, though.
Yeah, like exactly like probably like chill is probably the best word to describe him.
Yeah,
like super cool, laid back. Like doesn't get the whole YouTube fame, whatever, get to his head or whatever. He's just a regular dude. Yeah. So it was definitely a good time for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that is what's nice, is having that sense of community. I have to force myself to get out. That's part of the nice thing about camping, because even when I'm camping in the middle of nowhere, I'll usually stop places and I'll have a bite and a beer and like be mingling around people. Or even when I thrift in LA, I'll like make sure to carve out a little time to mingle. But I live alone in the middle of nowhere. Not really. I mean, we've got a community, but it feels like it. And then we work alone, so there's a lot of alone time.
Definitely. And if you don't do anything like proper over, you definitely go crazy. So
yes.
I feel you there. Yako,
how far back am I? Oh gosh.
I was starstruck. I'm sure you are, Jess.
Is Jess on YouTube?
No, Jess actually found me on YouTube. She's one of my subscribers, and she lives close by. And she messaged me, "Is like, hey, we should go pick it together." So we became friends kind of through that, and we'd be picking almost every single weekend together. So yeah,
nice. I have a few people like that too that didn't have channels, that had reached out. This was kind of in the early days, and then yeah, it is nice to meet people. It does get a little overwhelming at times because it's like you can't meet everyone. But there's some really cool resellers out there. There's something
you gotta do background checks on all of them, right?
I know. I mean, if you meet at the bins, it's not a big deal. Yeah. I mean, most of the time though, for me is like, I just don't go thrifting all that much. And when I do, it's like, I'm calculated with my time. So
no, well, you have to be if you're traveling 2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
It definitely has to be worth your time for sure.
Oh my gosh. How far back am I? Okay.
I don't even know.
At the observatory. Yes. That's a wonderful spot.
You're that far back? Oh my goodness.
I know.
You gotta scroll all the way down.
I know. I'm sorry. Wait, Krillin's asking my last name. Doesn't Krillin know my last name? Haven't we had this conversation?
He probably forgot. Tell him what number on the menu it is. You'll know that.
What was? He hasn't been on Tommy. They haven't been around.
I think it was number 6. Number 6, chicken all the way.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. There you go. See, you still know.
Yeah, it was the number that.
Yeah.
So what's going on? So you have two channels. Why did you start a second reselling channel? I've been curious about that.
From advice from people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And because I really like to do lives, like I'm a big fan of going live. I don't really
Yeah.
don't have much time to do it now, but I used to go a lot in the past. And every time back then, my pre-recordeds weren't getting any traction at all because I
Mm,
kept doing so many lives in between it, and like YouTube wasn't sure what I was doing. So people were like, "Hey, the best thing for you is just to start a live channel and just it's just like it was just like my just for fun channel, like kind of like your real estate, but it is monetized. But like I said, I'm making no money on it. But
right.
it's just like, hey, I'm bored at like 6 p.m. I'm gonna go live. I couldn't do that on my main channel because I knew it was gonna affect my algo, and then my next video could be like super slow. That's the reason for it. Pretty much the main reason for it. And I also have plans for in the future to do like fun videos, maybe like a little more vlog style videos, and put them on here too,
Mm.
like tester videos, because it's kind of hard to test in your main channel because if it flops, the next 2 or 3 videos out there might flop too. So it's
Oh, the YouTube
YouTube is
game.
pretty fickle.
It is. Yeah. It's interesting though. I think when you get complacent, not you specifically, but like anyone with a channel, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. It doesn't matter like how long you've been on. If you think that what you're doing now is going to be still relevant and still get the clicks in 6 months to a year, like you have to kind of evolve. And but then you don't want to take too many chances because then, like you said, you could
Yeah.
flop. So
Yeah, I don't know if you do have to kind of involve in your like what your content's about, but I think you definitely have to evolve in at least your quality of content in what you're putting out. Like it can't be the same exact thing that you put out 6 months ago or a year ago. And that's usually always my advice when people say, "Hey, I've been stuck at this sub number for about 6 months," and I'm like, well, when I go back and see what they're doing, I'm like, you've been putting out the same exact content for 6 months straight. It hasn't changed one bit. Why do you think it's going to grow past that? So yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
do you think everyone has a chance at YouTube, or do you think there are just some people that just, for whatever reason,
Well,
they
that's a
won't
good
make it?
question. I feel like the personality part, I think that's something you have to be kind of born with. Like the to be like entertaining or whatever. I feel like you can't really like teach that or be better at that. The editing part and everything else, I think that's something you could learn. You could take
Yeah.
classes for. But like I feel like the biggest impact about my channel is their personality, is who they are as a person. And if you're just not, I guess, an engaging personality, I don't think you would have a chance. But you could do editing for somebody else or something. You could definitely play a part in somebody's thing, but like not necessarily like going to be you. I think that would be my answer.
Did someone give you any harsh feedback that really that was hard to hear at the time, but that really helped your channel in the long run?
I don't want to call her out, but yes.
It's a her. That's fine.
No, it's. I think I said it before. Like that's my reason why I don't know if you know the homeschooling picker, Kayla.
Yeah.
Like me and her are best friends because of that.
Because she gives
And
you that harsh feedback.
well, back then, like I didn't really. Like, we just started becoming friends, and she'd be like, tell me right away, like this video sucked, or this was bad. You need to do this. You need to do that.
That's
And
Amber for me.
it's
Yeah.
exactly what I needed to hear. Like because
Yeah.
like a lot of people can just blow smoke up your ass and say, "Oh, that was the best video I've ever seen," blah blah blah, and like that doesn't help you at all. But she didn't like say like this video sucked, but she was like, "Hey, you should change this," or "Hey, you should change that," and boom, it's the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, part of it is learn as you go, figuring out your own kind of niche in a specific niche because you can't be the exact same as everyone. And like you said, having a personality does help, having a story helps. But yeah, I think people who are open to receiving really harsh feedback, you stand a better chance to grow.
Definitely.
If you're just surrounding yourself with people who are like, "Oh, this is so fun. Look at you've got a channel," and it's you're not gonna you need that really tough feedback, and that's most of life. But it's especially hard because I think on YouTube you get a lot of people, strangers on the internet, telling you how to live your life and telling you all the things you're doing right and wrong. And what you really need is someone solid in your life who's going to or a couple people who are just going to be like my mom's a good example. She's not on YouTube. She has like there have been times where I will just be like, I can't believe this person said this, and I'll kind of be ranting and about it, just kind of trying to get it off my chest. And she'll just flat out say to me, like, if you can't handle these comments, then just get off YouTube. Like, this is part of it. And I mean, that's like, I mean, my mom was the type growing up of like, suck it up, buttercup, you know, like, and I mean, I also grew up playing sports where it was coaches, you know, really like being tough on you so that you could get better. And on one hand, I really appreciate that because it does kind of force you to just like get over something. Sometimes you just want to vent though. So sometimes Amber's my go-to person of like, I just need to vent about this one person.
I feel you there. Tracy goes, go mom.
Moms are ruthless. Yeah, no, she's a cheerleader, but she will put me in my place.
I don't think my mom knows what I do with YouTube. I really just don't think.
Where does your parents live near you, right?
Yeah, but like they kind of understand English, but like they still don't really understand English fully. So like I don't think my mom watched more than like 1 minute. No, she did watch some of my travel stuff. She would watch those, but like doesn't, which makes sense. So yeah. Look at Jen pumping all your channels out. Look at that.
Nice. All the nonsense. Yeah.
So, how many different campsites have you been to since you started the City Girl thing? Seems like you go quite a bit.
I was doing really good until I got my real estate license, and then I scaled back quite a bit because I just don't have as much free time. But I don't know. I mean, I had the National Parks Pass, and then I had the California States Parks Pass, which got me into a lot of places. My problem here is that California is just a ginormous state, and so I don't want to spend so much time driving. So I really kind of focused on places that were within 2 to 4 hours. But I mean, there are places I would like to go that are a little bit further, but then the reselling gets in the way. I don't want to put my store on vacation, but then I need a vacation at some point. So
it's tough.
I mean, it's tough. It's like, oh gosh, when do you take a break? I mean, I have contracts with companies to do sponsored mentions, and it's like I can't take time off of YouTube even. I mean, I only put out 6 videos a month on my main channel, maybe 7 if I'm really good, but it's not like I can take I mean, you can pre-film some things, but I don't know, if you force content just to put out content, it feels forced and it doesn't do well, you know? Like quality does matter, I think. So yeah, I am trying to figure out a way for me to actually take a trip internationally again. But home ownership is expensive. So I don't know when that's going to happen.
When's the last time you went somewhere internationally? How long has it been?
It was before I owned a home, which has been 4.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I used to take one to 2 trips every year, and they were like extensive.
Same. Mine were like 3 weeks usually.
Yeah. 3 to 4 weeks. I would save all my vacation time. I would not take a sick day. I would just like, it's on. And part of it is like, if like one of my longest trips to get to was Sri Lanka. And like, I had to take,
man, rip to that country now.
I know. It was like 27 hours to get there and that included some layovers and stuff like that.
Yeah. I figured like that would be like probably going to like Japan or China first, right? And then to India and then to there. Yeah.
I don't remember which way I went, which that actually wasn't even that long ago. It was like 6 years ago. But yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing is like, if you want to go to some of those really foreign places, like distance, you kind of need to make the most of it and kind of stay for a while. But yeah, I've thought about just turning all of my channels into just travel and just try to get paid to do that. But I have a dog.
See, Tracy has an idea. I could stay at your house and ship, then you and her go to Greece.
Oh. That sounds like a good plan, Tracy. I'm down.
I feel like I get the short end of the stick there. I feel like it's unfair to me.
But I mean, you could stay with my dog.
True. No? But your dog doesn't play good with other dogs. And
That's true.
And I would have to bring my dog. And
I know, but she will play nice with some dogs. She just needs a little moment to like feel them out and like snip at them a little bit. It's fine. She's fine. Oh my gosh. How far? I don't think I'm that far behind now. Does it ever end?
No.
Does the scrolling ever end?
They keep going to keep talking. So no. So besides Sri Lanka, where else have you been?
Oh man. A lot of Asia. Asia was one of my favorite places to go in general because it, as a female solo traveler, I almost always went alone. The men didn't really like catcall or make me feel uncomfortable as much. So I really like Asian food. So, I mean, I studied abroad in Australia. So I lived there for a period of time. I stopped in New Zealand and Fiji on my way home. I don't know. I've been most of Asia. I've been to Spain. That's probably the only year. Oh, I guess I've been to Iceland in Europe as well. Peru. I did the Inca Trail. I hiked that with my mom. That was pretty epic.
That's like a week thing, right? That trail is like a week long.
Yeah, it was like 5 days.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to get into because they limit the amount of people that can go on the trail to like protect the environment. But yeah, my mom was a trooper for that. And yeah, I really, a surprising, my two most surprising countries that I didn't think I was going to like, but I just ended up going to for a different reason. Costa Rica, I was supposed to go to the Philippines, and the Philippines, I don't know, they were chopping off heads or something. I don't remember the detail, but something was going on.
That sounds pretty serious.
I know, I'm probably like,
I don't know. They just decided to chop everyone's head off and decided to not go there.
Well, I mean, okay, so when I was in Thailand, I got evacuated from Thailand, and I had a fairly traumatic experience. That was probably like anyways, that's a story for a different day. But so I was going to go to the Philippines.
I feel like I want to hear that story.
I know.
So you can't tease us like that. They just thought that was a story there.
So they have this thing they have a group of people in Thailand called the Red Shirts. And it's basically like 95% of Thailand is in poverty. And the Red Shirts for years were trying to protest against the government. And the night that they started using real bullets instead of rubber bullets to deal with these protesters was on Khao San Road, which is where I was staying. And 27 people died, 27 people died, and then 500 were injured. And this is on a small street that I was staying on. Wow. It's like a tourist area. They left the financial district, and the protesters decided to come to this tourist area to kind of spark some rage. And the Red Shirts weren't anti-American, so I was not in danger directly. But it was this crazy thing. And then I lost my debit card at the same time. And the only bank that I could get to, which was through Citibank, was in the financial district where more protesters were happening right after all this. I mean, I was walking literally by dead bodies. I've never experienced anything like this. And it was crazy. It was the bloodiest at the time, the bloodiest day in Thai history. And I was just like, happened to be there. So because I went through that, my poor parents, this is before cell phones were like, really convenient internationally. So my parents I just had to be sensitive of like, I don't want to upset my parents and go to a place that I might get in harm's way. So the Philippines, I was going to go. And then there was something where they like had some issues. A couple tourists died. I don't remember the details. So last minute I changed to Costa Rica, and I was kind of upset about it. I don't know who would be upset about Costa Rica, but I guess I was just like set on the Philippines. And I ended up going to Costa Rica, and it ended up being such a wonderful place to go. And I was there for 3 weeks and highly recommend it. Japan, another place. I was staying there for a week just to get to a different part of Asia. And I had just had a cheap flight there. And it ended up being like one of my favorite places.
I hear good things about Japan all the time. I hear like Japan's amazing.
Yeah.
No matter what part you go to, yeah.
And I think that's sometimes the nice thing is when you aren't like expecting it and it becomes just such a great place. But you've traveled quite a bit, right?
Not as much as you.
Well,
but I used to do the same thing you did. Like I used to do 2 trips a year for about 3 to 4 weeks if I could do it. But I haven't done it since COVID, and I miss it like a lot.
Where do you want to go?
I'm actually looking for tickets in Central America. Costa Rica was one of them, so I might be swinging that way.
You should definitely put Costa Rica on your list.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with your store on vacation?
So actually, I have 2 employees that work for me. They're both part-time.
Okay.
And so one of them knows how shipping works. Like, I think that's the most important part is to understand how shipping works. So
right.
So I also don't have a SKU system. It's pretty funny.
Wait, what?
I don't have a SKU system.
What does that mean? How do you find your inventory?
Well, I have a SKU system for clothes, But the
Okay.
rest of it, I just know where it is. Like I have like this is my mug row or this is my Christmas row. This is whatever. Like I kind of I just know where it is. I have over 7,000 listings in those queues. So yeah, it's not good. So what happens is when I go away, I take
Oh
stupid.
no.
I take pictures of where my stuff is, and then if it sells, something sells, I screenshot my employee and circle on the picture of where it's located.
That is so you really aren't on vacation. You just happen to be away from home, kind of still slightly working.
I do that like once a day for like 20 minutes, whatever. So, but
I mean, it's a system. It doesn't mean it's, wrong.
well, like imagine how much longer it's going to take me now to skew it all up. Just might as well just keep going this way.
Can you hear the birds?
Yes, and they sound glorious.
Okay. They get really feisty at this hour, so it's only going to get worse. Okay, I'm back. I'm behind again on the chat. Is there anything that we've missed?
It's just everyone is upset with my skew system. It's pretty much that's the last 50 comments. People saying brain melt, that's terrible. OMG.
Okay, but do you have like a plan in place of like maybe how to resolve that?
Well, I don't think I need to. Like it's not like I just put it in a random place. Like I have like a shelf where all my mugs go. I have a shelf where like all my plush or whatever goes. So like if I sell to something, I know I go to that shelf, it's going to be there. So
Right.
like, but for me to go find them and say right like mug shelf and all of them, it's going to take forever. Or whatever, and then people might not even know what that is. So it's just easier to do that.
I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. Hard goods is really tough. Clothing is so easy for inventory.
All my clothes is skewed.
Yeah.
That's very easy. I stole Ginger Marvin's idea, and I have the same banker boxes, totes, same thing. It's very easy. But my clothes used to not be skewed. Actually, just started skewing clothes like early this year. Took me like 3 months to adapt that just for my clothes. So, but that's all done. But the rest of it is like it's gonna be so hard. Like I don't know how to do it unless I just tear it all down and just have huge totes and just start putting everything in totes. But then I also have like huge items. Like what I'm gonna do with those. So.
Yeah, but I think if you just tackled like one tote each week and just started skewing a little bit of your hard goods, it would minimize.
Okay, so I actually have I have up to J in totes that are skewed, which is just like random stuff that I don't know where else to put. I'm like, oh, I have totes, so
right.
I have that. But the rest of the stuff, like I'm looking now, I see a whole shelf of books. I know my book is going to be there. I had the same shelf for like VHS. I know my VHS is going to be there. I had so it's yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's confusing, but it works.
I just think some of these comments are really funny, and I know they're from like an hour ago. But my boring reseller life, wasn't he on Tommy and Tracy's live one time? I found that video one of the more interesting ones of Tommy and Tracy because a lot of people will leave me comment, like not a lot of people. There are some people, especially on the Poshmark side. Like there's this one girl, I can't even remember her screen name, nor would I blast her, but she posted something like, if you are selling a whole bunch of items that you're only going to make $10 profit on, and that's your plan, you're not reselling right, or something like that. Like you're not a great reseller. And her whole concept is trying to sell courses to get people to buy like more high-end clothing, like luxury clothing.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing this going like, I mean, it sounds like you're pretty inefficient with your time, because if you're efficient with your process, a $10 item can make a lot of sense. And so my boring reseller life, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name, but James. I found that live with Tommy and Tracy one of the more interesting ones, just because he gets shit done, and I respect efficiency, and I think people can learn a lot from that. But he said he needs to do an OnlyFans reselling channel and get to the selling lingerie, which I think that could actually really work, especially if you're
definitely work.
Yeah.
He actually goes live sometimes too on his channel. It's actually pretty interesting how he has like a whole like template. He was live just doing hats, and he just opens the template, replaces two words, boom, done.
Oh,
And
I
that's
need
how
to
he
watch some of that. Yeah,
that's
I'm
how he
really
does like the
impressed.
drafts. I was like, dang, that's pretty good. So that way you could knock out some money in an hour because all you have to do is just like change 5 things and then you keep going. So it definitely makes a lot of sense.
It does, and I just did a video. I filmed it. It's going to go up next week. So I don't want to spoil anything because I want people to click on it with some
It's okay.
clickbait.
Nobody watches this anyway, so it's fine.
That's well. I mean, a lot of people do watch my channel. Although there's a lot of familiar faces, which makes me happy to see. But I did a processing video, and like what I walked away from it learning about myself was like how inefficient I am if I don't focus on being efficient. And it's the distractions. It's like because you're working in your home, you're like, I make lunch. Well, then I've got to do dishes. Oh, and then these floors over here, they need to be swept because there's dog hair. You start getting distracted by just life.
Yes.
And I think that when you actually like buckle down and like try to cut off as many distractions as possible and just, give yourself a work shift. I mean, I used to
Also, I think a lot of us have ADD too. I think a lot of resellers have ADD,
Yeah.
which is a big part of it. I know that's a big part for me.
It is, but it's a struggle, but it also like, I don't think it's hopeless. I think it's just, okay, you found yourself got distracted. Like, how can you get back into, and it's a struggle, but I do think that more people just focusing on, it's not a matter of like how high the dollar items are that you're selling. It's about how efficient you can be and what your life circumstance is. Again, like why I'm not selling on Whatnot for various reasons, but one, I can't get extra product. Like I can't thrift that much. I'm not, so I have to work
Just
with
keep buying thread boxes and then selling your company.
I know. I have one coming out that may be my last one.
Good point by Ginger Marvin. She says, I can't stand people think it's a waste to sell $10 item. You know how many people in the world
exactly exactly you add up that
you talked about this in your it's not worth my time, I think. Me, right?
Yep.
I remember those. And because I have the same kind of mentality as James does, except for I have a lot less listens than him. I have a lot, but not like 35,000 or whatever he has. And a lot of my things are like $12 profit, $14 profit, $16 profit. You sell 20 of those a day. That's a pretty good day. So
that's the thing. It's like, but some people just sit there and I mean, they're on Instagram and they're scrolling, and we're all guilty of the scroll like that. I mean, all of a sudden it's like 2 hours go by and you're just like, what have I done? I'm not saying I'm very imperfect with a lot of things, but I think it's recognizing that there's some improvements to be made. And I learned a lot with this challenge that I did a week ago. And now I'm just like, okay, why? Like, yeah, I just think people need to stop focusing on other people's businesses. Just focus on what you have access to, what you're capable of. Okay, so you live in a small town. I do too. I drive a distance to try and get some better stuff. I also recently started thrifting in my little town. Just a couple days ago, I picked up some Fry boots that were men's that were in great condition for $10. Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, it's hard here because they don't turn product very quickly. And it's like super small 3 thrift stores. But, I think it's just, you have to make the best of your situation. And again, it goes back into, if all you can find is a whole bunch of items that will profit $10, if you can just be efficient, like you can make a killing. Not to say it's easy, but it's possible.
And one of the best things you can do is actually put not disturb on your phone.
Yes.
That thing is like whenever I edit now, I put that on.
Yeah.
And I just realized I can do my edits in about 2 hours. It used to take me 8 because of all the like, oh, I got a text. Let me do this. Then it becomes a whole conversation. Oh, I got a message. Let me go to Instagram. Yeah, do not disturb is probably one of the best things that ever came with my iPhone. It's incredible.
I'll do that or airplane mode, and I'll even like sometimes just like give my mom a heads up, like, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna work a shift right now. I'm gonna be on do not disturb." Because I think it does help just kind of force yourself to just get things done. But oh man, seriously, can we just like pause the chat for a second, or does it just?
Tommy said, just don't ever buy a bale from America's Thrift Supply, Courtney. Good Lord, I threw all but 3 pieces out of 150.
What's America's Thrift Supply? Is that like an online thing?
Maybe like a ThreadUp thing or something? I don't know.
Tommy, are you making just a crap ton of money now that you're not doing YouTube? Like, what's going on? Where are you?
Did you see his shoe plug? Tommy got the plug of all plugs, man.
I know he has a hookup.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty awesome. Okay, I'm at Costa Rica and Japan conversation. That was a
Oh
round.
my god! But by the time we end the show, you'll catch up.
Oh my gosh. I'm
uh,
sorry. How do you do
I,
this all the time?
I gotta talk to you real quick about your food selections because I think you answered this yesterday on your Instagram. Just say you're like your final meal was gonna be sauerkraut. Like if you had like a
Oh,
final
check
meal
dumplings?
choice.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got a family recipe. So my last name, it looks like, yes, it's on a Taco Bell menu, but it's actually it's Czechoslovakian, Czech to be specific, since they did go their separate ways.
It's like Czechia now, right? Or whatever it is.
Just Czech Republic and Slovak Republic. And my family comes from Bohemia, which is in the Czech Republic side.
Like
Some people are
Bohemian
very
Rhapsody.
yes, although different. But yes. So we just have, I mean, almost every Czech family or a lot of Eastern European countries have dumplings of some sort. And ours just happens to be.
We have them in Ukraine too.
Yeah. And I'm sure I would love yours. You would probably, I mean.
We also make them with sauerkraut.
Yeah. Sauerkraut and pork and some gravy. But it's just a family recipe. And so, and I'm really the only one. My dad really liked it. And so I would usually make it during the holidays, like once per year. But yeah, it's just nostalgic. I'm a very nostalgic person. I'm a very basic person with a lot of things. I try to experiment with food, but yeah, Czech dumplings, sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut.
Have you ever like been to Czech Republic?
I'm the only one in my family that hasn't.
That's crazy.
I know. It's absolutely absurd.
I feel like you would enjoy it. The food would be good.
The food, that's the funny thing. There are a couple Czech restaurants in California, and I would go with my dad when he would come visit me. Like one was in north of San Francisco. There was one in San Francisco. And a lot of Czech food is very bland, like very bland. Like I've made it for some ex-boyfriends a couple times, and they're always just like, I mean, one of my exes was like, this is like a wet loaf of bread. And I'm like, no, it's not, but whatever. So yeah, so I don't.
Tell me more about this wet loaf of bread. That sounds scrumptious.
Well, you cook it. You boil the dumplings and then you slice them, so they're like little sliced.
Oh, okay.
Wet piece boiled flour mixture.
We actually had those too. But so my mom makes homemade dumplings, right?
Yeah.
And you know how you have to like do the cookie cutter thing to get it. So to get the perfect circle to make the dumpling in. So all the leftover pieces we would like boil those and eat those as well. So I guess probably the same thing as you guys have. I don't know, like all the best scraps that were left part of it.
There's like a traditional pan that I don't own, but I figured out a way to make it pretty close. But basically you make like a log shape of this wet dough. And if you've got the right pan, you can put it in. So it's like, 12 inches or, and then you slice that. So it cooks and you cook it. You let it just hang out in boiling water and then you slice it. But it's not really the dumpling per se. It's just that you're eating it with pork gravy and sauerkraut, or you fry it in butter in the next morning and you have it that way. But yeah, no, I really like bland food because that's how my dad ate. So yeah.
Interesting.
But I feel like is Ukraine bordering? I feel like Ukraine borders.
We border Slovakia. So back when it was together, we would border. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's similarities.
Yeah, like I know a lot of like the meals that my mom makes are like half like Polish, half like Russian kind of combination, which makes sense too because we're on both sides. So yeah. It also depends on what part of Ukraine you were from. You get totally different cuisine that way as well. So
yeah,
we were by the Polish side, so we had that. Butter makes everything. That's right, Bob. Butter does make everything better. So give me some more Czech dishes. I'm intrigued. What is a good dessert? Is it a boiled piece of fruit?
No. They have some really good like apple pastry type things. I wouldn't even say they're like strudels or anything like that, but my dad remembered one from his childhood that every time we went to a Czech restaurant, we would order the apple dessert, and he was always hoping it was going to be like the one he remembered from his childhood, and it never was. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple Czech cookbooks. There's a dish called halushka that I really like, which is kind of, it's like a stew. And I've made that before. I don't really make, I mean, mostly it's like once a year I'll make Czech dumplings. And my sisters aren't really like a huge fan of it. So I think I was really the only daughter that like got into it. But my aunts who I saw a few weeks ago, they came down from Portland, which is where my dad's from. And I was asking them all these questions. I was like, you know, did you guys fry your dumplings in butter? Or was that just something my dad did? They're like, no, that's what we always did. And then my dad would give us like pieces of raw potato as kids. I don't know why, but I just have this memory of like he'd be chopping up potatoes, like white russet potatoes, and then all of a sudden he'd just like hand you one, like a little piece of a raw potato. And
Yeah,
so I asked my, it's
that wasn't
weird.
us.
So I asked my aunts, I was like, is this something that you guys grew up with? They're like, yeah, we ate raw. And so I've learned through this conversation that everything in my childhood was essentially what my dad grew up with, which I thought was pretty funny.
Very interesting.
Like, who eats raw potatoes? We did. I don't know.
So Meg wants to know if you have an affinity for meat jello like me.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever tried that. Tell me the ingredients.
That is a Ukrainian dish as well. So pretty much you boil like pig items, pig feet, whatever you get, and you make a gelatin out of that. So you make like to get a stock, you turn a stock into a gelatin, and then you put like shredded pork into it, and you let it, and you put like carrots. Sometimes you could do whatever else you want with it, and you let it sit overnight like a jello. Then you eat it cold the next day.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like something I would probably enjoy.
Same.
I've never
now having like high school friends and having invite them over for dinner, and your mom makes it, you have to explain it. That's a different story.
They're like, we're never coming over to your house again.
And they're like, well, this is. I'm like, I call it meat jello. They're like, well, you what?
But there's a name for it, like Ukrainian name for it. I'm assuming.
Yes. There's
But
I always say try it first, then I'll tell you what's in it. And almost every single time when they try, like, wow, this is delicious. I'm like, yes. It just like, I think it's like our brain plays tricks on us. Because like if I explain to someone what's in a hot dog, they would never want to eat a hot dog.
Oh yeah.
But like,
it's basically you're using parts of an animal to make something that's kind of tasty, but it's like the cheap cuts of meat or something.
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of like the Ukrainian food is like the cheap like farmers food, because people like know the history. Like back in the Soviet Union, they would starve out so many people in Ukraine, so they would have very bare like food, so they have to make something out of nothing. So a lot of it is like that. So you would like. So my grandma used to own a farm in Ukraine before she moved here. So like if she wanted like pork, she would have to kill a pig. And if you kill a pig, you have to use every single part of that pig. You're not going to just like throw something out. Like I think that's probably like the biggest culture shock for my family when we moved here, was to see how much food is being thrown out daily. Yeah. Like my mom works as a janitor in a school, and she like sees how much food is thrown out every single day in the cafeteria. She's like, what is happening here? Like this would never happen anywhere else. So like, yeah, I definitely feel you on that one.
Yeah, no, and I also think like going back to like, I mean, I was fortunate enough to grow up with my mom's side where they were hunters. And so when I grew up hanging out with my grandpa, we would go fishing and we would go hunting, even if it was just like smalls. Learning that if you consume meat products or animal products, like learning the process of actually like taking an animal's life and wanting to actually use all of the components, I think is a really meaningful thing to learn as a kid. And I would talk about this with friends in San Francisco when I lived there for so long. And they'd be like, you used to kill squirrels. I was like, what was target practice? And they're like, but you killed the squirrels. I'm like, well,
you savage.
But it was for the farms. They were pests. Like that's pest control. But you would kill those innocent squirrels. But okay. That's how you learn. Like that's how you learn.
People just think, oh, they're so cute, cute little things. No.
But I do think that like having respect for animals and going through that process it can be very meaningful. And when you do go through that process, you do want to find ways to use up as much of an animal as possible to make their life worthwhile, you know?
That makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I get it. Kyle says we call it either from the rooter to the tutor.
Yeah, that's a perfect say, but that is, I feel like I'm going to steal that. Yeah, no, I'm so thankful. And it's funny because again, like most of my friends have never even picked up a gun. I just happen to have my mom's side that respectfully hunted and taught us from a young age. So I don't know if I could like go out and like just kill a pig if I wanted to. I don't know. Because pigs are pretty smart.
Man, it's I. So back when I lived there, right? I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. They had to use my help to like kill one, and I still get nightmares about it because you had to like corner it and then like hold it, and like that scream, huh?
You slit the throat?
No, my job was like to hold it so it wouldn't go away.
How did they kill it?
Yeah, you cut the throat. It's the fastest way for it to go.
Did you just lose 10 people on this chat because
probably. but like the sound, like I still remember to this day, and I was like 6 years old. It was just like, yeah. So it's not a fun experience. That's for sure.
It's not fun, but does it make you appreciate that?
Eating the bacon the second day was fun. That was that was good.
Yeah, no,
and like it's crazy because like, so I remember vividly that my sister was 1 year old when she was born in Ukraine, and we moved here, and she grew up thinking all like the food was like made in the store. It's like because like she was like already adapted to the USA life, so she thought like cabbage grew somewhere in the store. She thought bacon was just like made magically somewhere, and she had like no clue that it actually came from something. And I don't think also a lot of people like here understand that like that's like actually it has to go through this process for us to get that food. So it's
but it also like it just again like it goes into, it's not just killing for fun. It's not just, there's a purpose. There's a purpose that you respect that purpose. When we would go fishing, we would throw fish back, and that was like such a weird thing for me as a kid of like, why are we throwing this fish? It's not big enough. It's not big enough. And you have to, I just, so much of those little childhood moments carried through to my life in so many ways, and I'm thankful for that. So
that way you can put clothes back too as well, saying it's not big enough.
Yeah. It's not valuable enough. Put it back.
You can put back the mud jeans. Say Paul's gonna buy them later.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Tracy's check too. I can't remember. Yes, that's right. She's check as well. We talked about that. Tracy, we should go to Czech Republic together.
Do it right after Greece.
Oh my God,
in the same trip. I don't think you guys are gonna make it back. I think you
would get in so much trouble.
You're gonna get stuck in Prague or something.
I think her and I are probably bad influences on each other.
That was on my, so COVID happened 2020. Yeah, I took September 2020 off because my cousin was getting married in Ukraine, and I was gonna go there and then for 1 week, and I was gonna travel Europe the other 2 weeks. And I had Prague on my list. I had an Airbnb booked. I had the flight booked because I was going to go from Ukraine to Estonia, to Germany, to Austria, to Czech Republic.
And have you ever been there?
No.
Yeah, well then you can join Tracy and I. We can make it.
What about your shipping?
Vacation mode.
Who's going to ship for you now?
That's the thing. I feel like I want to get to a place where I can build a business where I can put my store on vacation mode and be okay with that. Like I feel like so much of the reseller culture is this hustle culture where it's like you just have to go. If you build a business with no time off, then you essentially are building something that's just going to burn you out faster. Like I think it's important to kind of plan for that. It's not that I'm good at that, but I mean, even the camping is important for me to take time off.
Tracy just booked tickets, and she's not coming back.
We will meet some
Bob wants to
like beer. Yeah, we would, because we have to monetize that to pay for the missing.
You have to make it a business expense, right?
Yeah, you have to pay for the trip somehow. Let's put it on YouTube.
There we go.
Gosh. I feel like I actually have seen pickled pig's feet. Go dog go. Go dog go. Aren't you Gary? I feel like I've forgotten people.
That is Gary.
Because we no longer have Tracy and Tommy's lives. Not to keep bringing this up, but it's really ruined my life.
All right, here's an idea. Yeah, send it to Iblis. Just build up a $5 Brian fee. There you go.
No. They contacted me at one point and I said no. I didn't even say no. I just ignored them. Does
How
anyone
dare
use
you?
that?
I think Becky Park does. People that
Hmm.
I know, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, then more reason I would not like it. I just think it's you still have to bag things, you still have to inventory things, like you still have to do the majority of the work. They're just gonna ship it for you. Like that's
Well,
an
like
essential to do.
if you're like if you're where you are, it makes no sense. But people like are traveling around, like if you live like in a camper or whatever, that makes
Oh,
a lot more sense.
that makes sense.
You just gotta build in like a $5 fee to whatever you're doing. It's like if you buy something for $5, you want to sell it for 20. Probably not the best idea. But if you buy something for 5, you're gonna sell it for 40. You can add that $5 fee to it and just send it to them. But
I think I could dig that if someone's doing the RV life. There's actually, isn't there an RV reseller that's got a YouTube channel?
I think there's a couple.
I've
And
seen
then,
one,
and then I
and I've
know
kind of run
Tracy
into
has
it.
been promising RV life, but I don't know if she's ever going to deliver to it.
She's coming out this way at some point. Right now, she's enjoying her little area of
Yeah,
Texas. Also, someone said there are 3 animals we would kill and not eat: snakes, skunks, and armadillos.
yeah, it's John.
Funny enough, last week I had a rabid raccoon on my property, and I've never seen a raccoon here. I mean, I have every other wild animal except that. It's because we don't have trash pickup where I live. We have to like take our trash to a central location, which is really weird for people. I don't know. But it's because we have too much
It's
wildlife that they would just like
it's
knock your
it's
trash can
simple.
over. So isn't that like how like raccoons just like dig in trash, right? Like that's
Yes.
in cities. And anyways, so there was Luna went crazy and there was this raccoon and I'm thinking, oh my God. And then it started walking around drunk. It's going to be in one of my upcoming videos, a little clip of it.
Oh
Oh my
boy.
gosh, it was crazy. And then yeah, that's an animal that just needed to be put down. So that's no longer alive, but it had rabies and it you need it
Yeah.
like you need to. I have killed some snakes on my property as well, but I try to only focus on the rattlesnakes. The
There
other
you
snakes
go.
are pretty good.
Rural Squirrel. She's a traveling
Oh,
reseller. There you go.
does RV reselling? Is it a woman?
Yes. Her name is Kristen. I think she's based out of like Illinois, but she goes everywhere.
I like that concept. I would be down for that. Like
Yeah.
just rent out my house for a year and just
Well,
chop
that
wood.
way you could, especially for you, if you want to do both channels. Imagine that. Just do like, hey, today I'm thrifting and whatever, and then I'm camping and whatever. And then you got content for both, and just go to the next one.
I know.
There we
There's
go.
so much content though.
Sell your house, buy an RV.
The good thing about having a real estate license now is that I could, if I really wanted to just leave here, I could just rent out my house, like I bought it at a low point where if I wouldn't, I don't think I'd ever sell this property. Um, but, but also like where, I don't know. I do
Would
like
you
the
like
stability.
Airbnb or like rent it? Rent it.
I, I don't know how successful Airbnb would be. Plus I would feel bad for my neighbors if there was like always a cycle of new people,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, I would probably, I don't know what I would do. I really haven't thought about it because I'm not really moving. My family's all in Southern California. So the reason I left San Francisco was to move closer to family. I
No,
can't see
makes
myself,
sense.
you know.
Unless
Um,
they all come with you.
yeah,
Buy a caravan of RVs. Buy like 6 RVs.
they won't. They will not. My family, that's my sisters, they don't even like going into a thrift store. They do not camp. They think I'm the weirdo.
You
So
said they like to go hunting and stuff, though. That's
not my sisters. No, that was my
uh,
grandfather, my cousin, my uncles, all the
uh,
guys. I
all
was
the
just like the
guys.
adopted boy. Not adopted. I was like the designated boy from because I have 2 sisters. So
You were the DB, designated boy.
I feel like that stands for something else, doesn't it? Am I thinking of
Probably.
something else? Yeah.
Jen's Closet Gems? What does it stand for? She could
Uh,
definitely tell us.
I don't know. I always get worried with certain. I say things online and I'm like, did that come out wrong? I think that came out wrong. At this point, you
Well,
just
especially like in your chatty word, you're like, yeah, whatever.
oh my gosh, the things that I've been like, I wish I could cut this out, but it's not
There
possible.
you go. Yeah. So,
Uh,
speaking about like your sisters and stuff, how long did it take them to like accept what you do as a reseller?
I
Or
don't
did
think
they?
we don't ever talk about it. I don't talk about my business or YouTube with either of my sisters.
They don't like ask what you do or like what you like.
They follow
How
my
do you,
social media, like my Instagram. So I'll see, like, I know that they see my stories, and that's just like keeping up to date. But
uh-huh.
yeah, no, I think that they just honestly just kind of, they just don't care. Like they're two older sisters, and they're just, I don't think they understand it. Like they don't understand the concept of going into a thrift store, spending hours there. And then the YouTube stuff, like they're very private, so they're like, why would you put yourself on
Yeah.
the internet, so I think it's just they just don't quite understand it. They're very, I mean, my family is very supportive in their own way, but it's not, I don't honestly think my sisters have ever asked about my business,
Interesting.
in all honesty. um but
Yeah, because like in my life, like if you're like a Ukrainian and you're not like a doctor or like a mechanic or like an engineer, you're like get a job. So like I have
yeah,
so like not thankfully not for my parents. My parents support me in whatever I do because they know they know I can pull it off. But like I have like uncles and like stuff like when we come to family meetings, they're like, okay, Paul, so when are you gonna stop doing this little hobby thing? When are you gonna get a real job? And they don't like actually like understand what I do is actually like real work because it's completely
yeah.
different to their like cookie cutter, I guess, lifestyle. So I don't know
i
if that was the same for you or not.
I have an old friend who I was really close with during COVID, and she wanted me to come work for marketing for her. And uh she at one point said, like, why don't you come and actually get like a real job, like your little hobby thing? And it was kind of this like brush, and it's like, I mean, again, I will say to most people, YouTube is not worth it right now. It's very worth it for me, but I've worked really hard over the years to get to that place. And but like, yeah, I mean, even the reselling stuff, it's just a passion. There's nothing better. Like, can we all just agree there's nothing better than the treasure hunt? And when
Yeah,
you like see something like today, that Dosa dress, like I haven't seen, I've only sold Dosa once. Again, most people might not know Dosa, but it's an expensive clothing brand, and it's rare. And so when you see that and you're like, wait a second, is this, what did I just, and then you get so excited. And it's that feeling of like, yes, like, let's keep going. Let's keep going. There's just nothing better. And at the same time, you're also buying for yourself cheaply. Like,
hmm
when was the last time you bought something new? I mean, I almost never buy anything new
shoes every 6 months because there's
because you
none
have
for my
to.
size.
Can we just talk about that for a second? So you sent me a message, which, by the way, so you chimed in, and I didn't realize you watched my second channel. And then there was the cave hike video where I was hiking through some caves, and you left a comment on that video, and I was like, oh wow, he watches these. That's weird, really supportive. Okay, that's,
So, yeah, I
and
said I'm
then
a big fan of the chalupa, man.
I know. so and so I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then you sent me a message when I had my anniversary sale, and you're like, I wish the Brooks were a size, what did you say,
Bigger,
16?
a size bigger because
Okay, you said size,
because
and I
they were
said
15s.
they
Yeah,
were 15s, and I was sitting here going, wait a second, did you just say a size bigger? 16s? And so then
yes.
what did I tell you?
I said if you say it, the ladies will make assumptions.
I was just like, a size 16 shoe? You have to, I mean, that's really hard to find. Like, I almost never find anything, And then
I've never found a size 16 shoe in the wild in my life.
okay, I honestly think I have once, and I can't remember. They were like
The
basketball
crazy
shoes.
part is I found like 18s. I found 20s in the wild. I never found my exact size though.
Yeah, I made the comment that you should be advertising that out on your YouTube videos. You said that you apparently did, but yeah, I mean, now people know
I
that.
think people know about it. Yes, I don't like to bring it up too much, but yeah.
I mean, now people know if they find a really good quality pair of like sneakers. What's your favorite brands? What are your favorite brands?
Pretty much Asics and Brooks. I
Asics and
like
Brooks.
things that are comfortable. So I don't
Asics
know.
and Brooks, size 16. That's what we're shopping
There we
for you.
go. There we go,
Okay.
guys.
So
Send them all my way.
message you if we find some. Got it.
There we go.
Do we have to cut you a good deal?
Should you start? Yes, Tommy. What you mean? Should you start? You haven't started holding them yet. No,
mean,
you know, you don't have to cut me a deal. I'll pay what you're asking. I feel
okay.
like that's fair. It's
I
because
mean,
I'm going to buy them anyway. And it's not like anybody else is cutting me a deal, you know?
yeah, that's true. I have 2 uncles on my mom's side, and one's 6'7" and one's 6'5".
Oh, I'm right in between. I'm 6'6".
Oh, okay. I don't think I realized you were that tall. I don't know why Tommy's saying I'm still behind on comments, but laugh my ass off. I love Courtney. What did I say earlier? Oh gosh.
Probably something.
Something
It's probably something hilarious.
Nothing. That's actually something that's like a huge insecurity. I had a ex one time say I wasn't funny enough, and I don't try to be funny. I don't think I am, like a comedian perspective. But yeah, I do not feel like a funny person.
I think you're pretty funny. You got a couple of jokes here and there.
I mean, it's not normal. Not often. It's not. Interesting. Lots of Asians in SoCal. So chicken feet and cow tongue are popular. Yeah, cow tongue is so there's this food called Basque food, like from the Basque region of Spain, you would think, but it's actually these Basque people came from Spain to the Central Valley, which is an hour from me. And there's these Basque restaurants, and they had these like family style dinners, and beef tongue was always on the menu. And they would like just bring you out a whole bunch of dishes. Like you didn't order things, you were there for family meal. And so I've had cow tongue quite a few times. It's like pickled.
That's lingua, right? That's what they call it, I think.
That's the Spanish. That's like cooked, not pickled.
Yeah, right? Because like I have a place next to me that sells tacos, and they sell cow tongue tacos, and they're actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you have any good Mexican food by you?
I have one walking distance from a warehouse, like legit, like owned by like first generation people that came here.
Nice.
And so it's like legit. I also have a Chipotle that's about $2 away that I frequent as well. But I don't know if that's considered good or not.
You cannot go wrong. So wait, how much do you mind if I ask, how much do you pay for your warehouse?
About with utilities, about $1,600
a month.
Yes.
Wow. That's 4,000 square feet. That is huge.
It's an unbelievable deal.
This whole time I thought it was a basement. It's fine.
Let's go. You can say it's a basement.
I just was jealous of your giant basement.
Yeah, the fact that you think I had a 4,000 square foot basement, I just God bless you for that. Thank you.
I don't think I actually was like worried about the square footage. I was just like, this is a huge basement. I don't know. Okay.
What do you have against my slick back look, John? Yeah, John's always coming at my hairstyle, but then John is always wearing hats in his live, so I feel like he's covering something.
How often do you have to get your hair cut and your beard trimmed, or is that a thing?
For it to look like this? I get it cut every 2 weeks.
So talk to me about this, because I feel like a lot of the firefighters around me are really into mustaches and beards, and it's like a whole guy culture. Is that like what you're a part of?
A firefighter?
Yeah. You know, like that culture, that like bro.
I don't think so. I feel like it's just easier than shaving every single day, and then I like to look more, I guess, mature with it. And then also this is like a traditional Ukrainian like hairstyle now too, so I'm kind of doing that to support the country, kind of like in a low key as well.
Is it really like a
yeah? So the original Ukrainians are called Cossacks, and so they would have the two sides shaved, and they would have like the long hair on the top, kind of like how I have it, and then they would have a beard. So but like theirs would be like a lot, but their hair would be like a lot longer than mine though.
Wow.
So like actually, if I can try to find a picture of some, because
yeah. So that's the inspiration.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just being like part of the cool club thing.
I feel like I'm a cool.
No, you're a cool cat, but like yours comes with like some substance. It's not just because like some friends.
It's like kind of like what like Viking hair used to look like, I guess.
Oh yeah, the Vikings. I mean, you could have been a Viking. 6'6".
I get that quite a bit. Yeah. I get called Viking. I don't know if do you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Yeah, there's a guy that called the Mountain. I get called that quite a bit too.
Is
So
it do you ever get comments on your YouTube videos about your appearance?
no, because
Really?
they're not. I don't really talk about them that much, so they don't. But I'm thinking about doing a video on this channel where like I sit down and interview them and just see like what they really think because they have a fascinating story to tell.
Yeah. No, you should. Would
Here's
they
like
do it?
I don't know if you can tell. Here's kind of like what it looks like.
That is so Viking-esque.
Yep. Here's like the cartoon version of it. A lot of them like they hair like they do like a mustache instead too, so kind of like that.
So it's like a masculine yet semi-feminine, like ultra masculine, but like has some
it's
femininity.
very like masculine metro.
Metro, yes. So they were doing this how long ago? Like
probably like what 1200 AD, 1300 AD, like back then, yeah.
But was there any purpose behind it other than they just didn't want to shave?
I don't know. I thought they probably look cool. I don't know, but that's like the so like yeah when I go like to like family events like oh there's the Kazakh they're called Kazakhs, so there's people who are like oh like the Kazakhs is here because of what I do, yeah. So Paul was on the ark.
Was on the ark. I mean, yeah. But you do spend quite a bit of time maintaining it, correct?
The beard,
like just the whole look, like you have to.
Yeah, you have to. So like, I do like the whole beard oil and all that to make it presentable. Because if I don't, it will look like that. Like legit, like if I don't take care of it, it's gonna look pretty bad. Yeah. So yeah, it's not like I just like. I want to be a bum or whatever, you know. So yeah, I feel like this look takes a lot more skill than something else.
Do you have to put like a beard cream in to like
just oil, just beard oil? And actually, it's pretty funny that they had this like I shouldn't be saying this, but they had like this straightener for a beard.
Yeah.
So it's like a straightener brush. So I do that after my workout and stuff. So yeah.
So when you work out, do you ever like tie it up and just like
no, I haven't got to that point yet. If my hair gets too long, I put like a little ponytail on my hair, but no. But it's been bad. So like I just got a haircut a couple days ago because I have only one girl I trust to cut my hair, and the last 2 months she got COVID, then her kid got COVID, then her mom got COVID. So for 8 weeks straight she couldn't cut my hair, so it was bad. So that's why I had like a hat on. No, I just had a hat the whole time just to cover it.
Did you get COVID?
I got COVID 3 times.
3 times?
One of them was like bad, but the rest of them just were like, oh, I got COVID, cool. Yeah. But one of them was like bad. Like shakes, like shaking bad, like I couldn't walk bad. The other times it was just like I was just sick. I live around people, Courtney. I don't live with elk and and
it would be pretty cool if they like strolled up right now, but they aren't. So.
And no Uber Eats. I don't live in those. I live around actual people every day.
Yeah, I do not.
How many people do you see on your like I said like on your like just like do your daily chore? How many people do you see?
So I go to yoga about 3 days a week. And that's usually that's in town. So that's when I'm like, I try and make it so that's my post office runs. We don't even have postal pickup here because I live. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's terrible. People always in my videos.
Yeah, like a PO box there, right? Just to get everything done, right?
I have a UPS store box as like my business address. And that's like my return, you know, like if I get returns, that's where it goes. But so I have to go to the post office in town about 3 days a week. And so I try to coordinate that when I'm already going into town. So yoga, I'll see, 5 to 7 people. I go to the trash. I take my trash to our central trash spot, which is a few miles away. I might see a person at the trash.
So we're up to 8.
That's not even every day. When I go thrifting, I might see people at thrifting, you know.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
basically it. Yeah, I don't see.
Well, yeah, I can see why you wouldn't get COVID if
Yeah.
that's your interaction.
I got COVID once. That was from an ex that yeah, that was not my fault. I was really cautious. I got COVID in 2020. I was one of the like OGs.
Oh, you were on one of those guys. There we go.
Yeah.
Social time includes trash takeout.
I know this is so foreign to people. Okay, to be fair, I do have a girls' night tomorrow. I am going to see 3 of my friends, and I also have a coffee date on Sunday with another friend.
Oh,
so I actually have some social
look
time.
at you being like a normal human being, man. Respect it.
I still have to drive 30 minutes to get to them, but it's fine.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's fine.
I take my trash too, Courtney. Don't let them get to... Oh, see, there we go.
So do you live in a rural area too with wildlife?
I think she does, and I think she lives like in upstate New York.
I feel like I know she's so supportive on comments on my channel. So, but I don't think I've ever asked. Oh yes, you do. Okay, how many people live in your area? Not to compete.
New York, see? Got the man, see?
Upstate, okay.
Look, see, I knew it. I knew it, Carrie.
Yeah, I don't know why that's like a big deal, but sometimes on my real estate channel, people will comment and be like, I can't believe I had to take my trash, you know, because there's a couple communities here that we have that, and people are up in arms about it.
Pete says most of VA has to take our own trash out. Really?
Wow. Like Virginia?
Yeah. So how far are you from Starbucks? You already passed the Dave Matthews Day. I think I need to start packing.
Starbucks is 25 minutes from my house. So that's in town. And Tommy, I worked at Starbucks for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was during what was the like housing crash of 2008?
2008. Yes.
So
Lehman Brothers and all that.
Yeah, I was in college, and I took forever to get through college because I was like traveling and changing majors and having way too much fun. I got a job there because I was getting kicked off my parents' health insurance when I was like 26 or something. And so when the crash happened, I was just getting promoted. And then I just kept the job for a number of years to finish college. And we would listen to a lot of Dave there. That was like definitely one of that and Bob Marley. But that was a great place to work.
Did they pay well, or was it just mainly tips?
Well, I mean, I was only like a barista for a year, and then I got promoted to manager, so I was managing my own stores. And so yeah, I mean, they pay well because you run your own small business. You know,
that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, good benefits. That's how there were definitely times I drive all of Delaware in 25 minutes. Seriously, Tom.
That's actually a good point.
Seriously. I can't even get to the grocery store in 25 minutes.
Like if I'm driving south and I have to go through Delaware, that part between Delaware and Maryland, like for me, is probably like 25 minutes. Yeah. So it's a good point.
Okay, but like how big is Delaware?
If you go like vertically north to south, it's probably a couple hours. But there are like gaps of it. There are like 20-minute stretches for sure.
I mean, have I been to Delaware? I honestly don't think I've been to Maryland. I don't think.
What part of Maryland? Like OC, Ocean City part, or
aren't there some like historic, like George Washington something?
Washington something. Sure there's a George Washington statue somewhere.
I went to Washington D.C. when I was in 8th grade, and I went on a tour with my mom. And we went to like sites, and I feel like we went to Maryland and Virginia.
That's where DC is, right on the border of both. So yeah, it would make sense.
But this was a long time ago. I mean, I'm poor.
I still can't believe you don't remember. It was only in 8th grade.
I mean,
how big is California from like the tip to the tip? From the what did Kyle say from the
Yeah, from the
Tutor,
photo to the hood. No.
tutor to the pooter.
Yes.
How big is California from the tutor to the pooter?
I mean, it's basically Mexico to Oregon, really long distance. Distance. I would say probably the drive straight from San Diego to Weed, California, which is kind of near the top, would probably be 12 hours.
Rooter, thank you. Rooter to the tutor.
Rooter to the tutor.
You said 8 hours?
No, 12 probably.
12 hours?
Probably. It's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure.
I think I can get to Florida from here in 12
but
hours.
California is almost the entire West Coast.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Where do you live? She lives in the wildlife. Can you show everybody the people coming in late? Can you show them the view one more time so people can get jealous again? Yeah, that's her view, guys. That's what she sees every single day when she wakes up. Are you jealous as well? So would you say you live like an hour north of LA, right?
2 hours north of LA.
2 hours north of LA. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's 2 hours driving. If a crow flies, it's not actually all that far, but I would have to cut through those mountains. There's no road from here to LA. But like on a map, I'm directly north of downtown LA. And it takes 2 hours driving with very little traffic. But there's some mountain roads that are involved with that. So it's an interesting experience. But yeah, which I just tried out a new dog sitter today and it worked out great.
Really?
So I feel like I can go to the bins again, which I'm so excited about.
I'm surprised you could get a dog sitter in that area.
I was shocked too. And she was super nice. And so fingers crossed that works out.
You guys probably don't have like WAG up there, right?
Well, that was the thing. So so WAG showed up and I was like, well, let me see. And they paired me with someone. And then the person they paired me with was in a town that's an hour driving away from me. And I'm like,
no one's going to do that.
Is you charging $20 or something for this walk? It's like insane. Are you kidding me? She's going to pay more for that and gas both ways. So anyways, I messaged them and I said, no, this is I'm in a very rural area. The radius needs to be like 5 miles max. Like anyone more than that, it's going to take way too long. So anyways, then I went on a Rover. So this is kind of scandalous, but I feel like it was the right thing to do. I went on a Rover and I found someone that's like 3 streets away from me. It was one person in my community that was on Rover. So I was like, oh, this is great. But instead of contacting her on Rover, I decided to find her on Nextdoor because everyone in a small community uses Nextdoor.
Yep.
And she has an interesting first name. So I went on to Nextdoor. I found her so she doesn't have to like have any fees. So I can pay her rate and she like saves a little money. So
there you go.
So yeah, it worked out really well. And
do you have any of those?
Yes. I've only seen
I don't even know what that is. What does it look like?
Oh, mountain lions you don't want to
Google what a mountain lion looks like. Is it like a
mountain lions are actually the ones that kind of hide. They like have an eye on you, but you don't see them very often. I've seen mountain lions twice.
So it's like a cougar.
Yes.
I love cougars, if you know what I mean.
Did you ever see that show? It was called Cougar.
Cougar Town or Cougar?
Oh, was it called Cougar? It had Courtney Cox.
That's Cougar Town. Yes, I've seen it. Okay.
That was actually pretty funny show. And I'm really sad that it's not around anymore. The first moment I was in my late 30s when some idiot decided at like a bar or something that he would say, or he said something like, oh, I'm really into cougars. And then I like clicked with me what he was saying. And I'm like, you're a 22-year-old idiot if you think that that's going to be like a great pickup line. So
did it work?
No, it absolutely did not work. No.
Well, like I hear there's like things called pumas now, which is like
they're like pre-cougars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, it's kind of like anyone who addresses a woman's age in any way, shape, or form is probably doing it wrong.
There we go. You guys listening?
Just saying. Did it work? If anything, just say that she looks like she's 22, even if she's 50. There's a bee right here. So we're gonna ignore it, but it's fine. Um,
Men are idiots. Thank you, Tracy.
I mean, Tracy, have you ever had anything like that? Like some idiot that thinks they're kind of being funny and they're like trying to be flirty and
Probably. I'm guessing it probably happened.
but okay, but I do think it's different. If like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you had any like guys try to shoot their shot to you on like on IG that watch you on YouTube?
Oh, slide into my DMs.
Yes.
Not really on common tags, but on my City Girl Unplugged, yes.
Oh, really?
Because that's like, I mean, I think guys see like a girl camping on her own, like, you know, like that's appealing, I think, to guys because it's not every girl's into camping. So, some of them are a little weird. Some of them I think are pretty harmless, but
Tommy goes,
Tommy, thank you so much for understanding. I feel heard and accepted right now.
Tracy doesn't get hit on anymore, so she'll be flattered.
Oh my gosh, Tracy, stop it.
There you go.
There are so many people that would just watch Tommy and Tracy just for Tracy.
I put on two screens and I put Tommy on one screen and I turn it off. And then I just have Tracy on.
I mean, I would
if I could just like figure out how to mute him too, it'll be like the best. But I haven't figured that part out.
I mean, Tommy, you're great, but 50% of your audience or more was there for Tracy. Just saying.
How did we get onto this? Oh, mountain lions. I was like, where? How did we get on this stage? Yeah. Anyways, mountain lions.
Mountain lions. Come here, boo. Here, you can have a treat. This is Luna for anyone that does not watch my channel.
Hey, Luna.
Right? Did you have a visitor today? You had a new friend? I know. Yeah.
It was cute that one time when you had your little chatty thing and she wanted to sit by you. I was like, oh
my gosh, she was like, we're kind of the perfect match. I'm not an affectionate person. Like, please don't like people who are like very huggy, and that's just not. So it works out great because she's not a very affectionate dog. Right now she's chasing the bee, which is fine. But yeah, that day for some reason she was just really cuddly, which is pretty cute. Mountain lions. So yes, mountain lions occasionally, but most of the time you don't see them. They're pretty good at being kind of stealth. I have bobcats that live on my platform down there. That's like a separate deck that I just need to refinish at some point. But they live underneath that deck. And it's pretty cute. Sometimes I have baby bobcats and the baby bobcats will like go on the deck and they'll roll around and it's like, oh my God, this is like the most adorable thing, but they're still wild animals.
Are bobcats dangerous too? Like
they're not dangerous for me because they're smaller than Luna. The mountain lions can actually get bigger. Well, Luna's 62 pounds. So some mountain lions can actually be bigger than that. And Dang. They will murder things. Like bobcats will eat a rabbit.
Yeah, I say like if it's named lions in it probably isn't.
I mean, mountain lions attack humans. I mean, people have been attacked and they're, 100+ pounds. So yeah, mountain lions are pretty scary. We have bears very rarely in my part, but I have seen them. The elk, the deer, the wild pigs are kind of gnarly because those are pretty aggressive.
Wild, like boars, razorbacks.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's different kinds of wild pigs, so I don't think they're all necessarily boars, but they're like the big, black, hairy, they're crazy looking.
Dang. Like you got some crazy wildlife around you. That's nice.
Yeah. So if you have a gun,
Tracy wants to free roam and board if she can help you with your duck.
That duck. Oh my God. How did someone build this house? Was a cabin originally. No one lived here full time, and it shows with some of their workmanship, but loves me some cougar. I'm like so behind. I'm still on the cougar chat. And
then Tommy saw someone else have a chatty video today. So play as you starting a new craze. So
oh no, did someone copy me? Did they give credit? Probably not.
Most likely not.
That's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves. So when I started a series in my my first 2 months on YouTube, I started a series called Goodwill Bins versus Stores. I looked it up on YouTube. No one did it. I came up with this original idea. I was so excited. And I did 4 of them. And at the 4th one, I realized someone copied me, and then they posted on their Instagram, they came up with this great idea. And what do you guys think? And it was like,
Oh
they were not
wow.
only just copying and not giving credit, but they were trying to claim it as like their original idea. And they had a much bigger Instagram following than me. And so I was horrified. I stopped doing them. I was like, I can't believe people do this. Lesson learned. Nowadays I'll speak up, but I understand some people don't. I mean, like, who was the first person that did a thrift haul? I don't know who it is, but thank them for it. We all do
Yeah.
them. Like, someone was the first person to do it. But I do think if you have only seen one person do a specific type of video, and you're
Yeah.
going to, do some part of it or all of it, give credit. Just say that you're doing this and you were inspired because you watched so and so do it.
That goes a long way too, because it gets your respect, it gets the respect of your audience, instead of just saying, hey, look, it was my idea, I came up with this.
I mean, I still struggle. Like, there's someone that did that, and she technically gave me credit at the end of her video, and it was for a different video I won't mention, but it was something, and it was like 2 weeks later, she did almost the identical video, went to the same stores as me, and I sent a comment. I was like, I legit just did this video. And she's like, yeah, I know, I gave you credit. And I watched it. I was like, okay, well, it was at the tail end, but okay. But still, like, why? Like, why do you have to go to the exact same stores and do the exact same video concept? Like, just come up with a new one, Like,
Oh, that's too hard.
I don't know. I don't think you have to come up with everything on your own. Like, I think it's fair game to do what sold or thrift with me's or yard sale videos. Like, none of us know the original person of that. But if someone has some original content, I don't know. Anyway, so if someone copied me, I would not be surprised. I'm surprised.
Tail end credit is great. That's a very good point.
Tracy, by the way, before you logged on, I gave you all the credit for the chatty work with me. I don't think you were on.
Yes, she did, Tracy. She said it was your idea.
She was the one I was talking to at the time of like, I like this idea, I want to do it. And then when it didn't do well, we were like talking things through, and it was really helpful. And now it's become like this staple on the channel that's become torturous for me. But yeah.
That is lies, Derek and Jasmine. I would only take titles of videos that do good. So I would definitely not steal your titles. You like that little diss?
Wait, Paul takes all of our titles and never gives us credit. Do you steal?
Only from videos that perform well. So definitely not their titles.
That's a dig back.
I don't steal. I just take inspiration.
But don't you think there's a difference between inspiration and just straight up like?
Oh, I've seen some people that just legit word for word, and then like even like put all caps the same words that I put all caps on. It was legit like they copy and pasted my title. It was like legit. I'm like, come on, man. it's
yeah,
like at least add a little creativity to it. Just change a couple words here and there, not just like copy and paste. And then like, they would copy and paste my description, my tags, all of that too. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, I get that if you see someone that has a video that performs well, like, why not, mimic that to a degree. But Amber had this video where I think she was on your live before this video went out, but I don't really stand up to people in like a public sense. Like, if someone leaves an idiotic comment, I will block them. I don't care. I don't tolerate it. I don't engage. And so, yeah, most of the time I'm pretty quiet, but Amber did a video where it was like the top 20 selling men's jeans brands or something like that. And she had a whole plan. I talked to Amber almost every single day. And so she had a whole plan of like, she was going to do it with women's dresses, and she was going to do it with women's jeans. And she had like this, in a sense, like it was a whole series. And this girl copied the entire thing. And I publicly posted about this girl. And I almost never do that stuff. But I was like, as a YouTuber who has come up with original content and had that stolen, and like, this girl, she used the same graphics as Amber. She did everything to a T. Like, the intro was basically the same thing. So anyways, this girl got called out publicly by Amber. Good for her. And then I jumped on the bandwagon. I was like, this should not be tolerated. And then the girl ended up sending Amber an email apologizing, and she took her video down, and she's still making content. But it's like, I think that it's like a younger generation. How old are you, by the way?
32.
Okay. I mean, I don't really think that you're into cougars unless you're into 50-year-old women. Because you're not too, if you were like 22, I would say maybe. But I feel like there's this like 20-year-old generation, and it's not here to knock them, but like that grew up with social media and TikTok and Snapchat and all of that stuff. And they do kind of just think it's fair game to just copy. Whereas my generation is like, I don't know. I feel like there is a generational difference online. And so this girl did apologize to Amber, but it really upset me of like, it's common sense to me. If someone does something, I don't know. You guys can disagree. I know.
I actually heard like Ryan Trahan, the guy who recently blew up on YouTube, did I survived a penny a day to deliver a penny to Mr. Beast guy. He was pretty big. So he's friends with Mr. Beast, and they were actually talking about that with him as well, about like YouTube things, because a lot of people actually like copy and paste Mr. Beast's thumbnails and then just take his face out of it and put their face in it and think it's okay. And he was like calling them out, saying like that took a lot of creativity, it took a lot of work. You can't just like steal somebody's idea, take it as your own, and just be cool with it. So I don't think it's just like a restart thing. I think it's just like a whole like
it is a YouTube.
It's a content creator thing for sure.
Yeah. It is,
and I know it's kind of hard for us, especially like for me, because how much more creative can you get with like yard sale stuff,
right?
and titles, like you can't really think of anything too crazy, but like I'm saying,
huge thrift haul, crazy yard sale, like it's all the same.
There's just so many arrows and numbers and things you could do to make
I've never done. Everyone's done it, and I get that. But like where someone has something in the background, they circle and they have an arrow. I've never once.
You never done the arrow?
Never. I know. What am I missing out on? I know.
Man, try the arrow, man. It might blow you up. The arrow could be huge.
I don't think I like my growth because it's been organic. There's someone that's got a similar channel to me that we have screenshots. A couple of us have screenshots of their social blade, and they had like 7 days in a row where they had no videos that were like doing really well, where they had 100 new subscribers each day. And this person, based off of their total views, they have less total views than me, but they have significantly more subscribers. And it's like, I know that people buy subscribers, and I'm like, I couldn't sleep at night. I just could not sleep at night. And
talk about a terrible investment. First of all, that's like the worst thing you could do.
Is it an ego thing? Is it? I don't know. It's really
like a fake number.
It's a fake number, and it's not going to be.
Like, also, doesn't YouTube push out your videos more if more of your subs watch it to the general public?
I think it's an ego thing. I don't know. Yeah. But it is a weird space. I mean, the majority of people I follow on YouTube are really great people. There's so many good ones. Again, I'll throw you and Tommy and Tracy and Amber in that mix, and there's so many others. But I do think it unfortunately is a weird space with some not so great people.
Tracy has a good idea for you for the future, by the way. It's right here.
Oh, nude chatty work with these. Tracy, I feel like that's my OnlyFans account. Can we do that?
You can seriously. ATL flippers are about to start buying subs.
Oh, you didn't know. check your Instagram inbox. They will be offering to.
Yep, you can buy IG followers. You can buy a lot of things. Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
Did you know you could sell a YouTube channel?
I wonder what I could sell mine for. Probably $10.
No. It's more valuable than you think. I mean, you probably, if you were going to buy one, want to buy one in the same niche. But like, let's say you decided, I'm done with reselling. You could basically find a market of people who maybe just want a similar audience, maybe pick up similar things to you, and they just kind of want a built-in audience. But it's something like 3 years of what you would make in compensation for ad revenue.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty spicy offer.
It's a pretty spicy offer. So I'm just saying, anyone that has a decent YouTube channel, you could sell it. Nice. Because think about it, like they're getting a head start, and not everyone's going to watch them or follow them. So they'll have some drop off, but it's just like if you establish a business,
and sell the customers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're basically selling your customer base.
Tracy's pimping out your OnlyFans.
No joke. That's why we're outside where there's a nice breeze.
Nobody clicked that link. I don't know.
Is it a good link? Can we try it?
It's a legit link. I'm sure it's clickable.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Tracy, you probably just started my next side hustle.
Yeah.
It's funny because sometimes you meet people and you'll say like, "Oh, I have a small business online," and then they immediately jump to, "Oh, are you into that OnlyFans thing?" It's like, no,
it's crazy. That's the thing, though. That's insane, man. See, no one asked me about that. Every time I say I have a small business online, no one asked. No one asked.
It is a girl thing. Yeah, no, I get it. It's a girl thing. I feel like Tracy can understand. Clearly. Oh my gosh. And actually, yeah, Tracy, some people really like that, sweaty, dewy look. So I feel like you're onto something and I should consider it. This is the weirdest space for sure. I know several that have bought a ton of subs. The extent people will go. So people that have bought them, like we only have suspicions based off of some of, like, if you don't have a banger video.
I feel like Social Blade is a really good aspect to it because usually your views and subs follow the same curve, right?
Yes. You have to have a banger video to have some banger.
So a lot of times when I see like somebody's views stagnant and just have a huge peak in subs, I'm like, something happened there. But again, it's just assumptions. Like I can't know for sure, but I feel like that's a very good indication for sure to see if somebody's doing something a little sus. And I'm like, if they are, I guess more power to them. If that's what you want. It's your money, do whatever you want. But you're spending money like on a fake number. Like what do you care about that number so much for? Just like the clout you get with it, I guess. I don't know. But
I think there's too many ways to spot that, and people are always watching your every move. I don't have any of the extensions. I don't look at a lot of people's channels. I don't really want to compare too much because I think it gets really an unhealthy obsession of like, oh, this person got more subs than me, or this person has more views than me. I think if you just have some self-respect and just, and it's funny because Tommy and I had this really interesting conversation. Tracy was on for a little bit and then it ended up being Tommy and I swear we talked for like 2 to 3 hours until like 3 a.m, which was insane because it was 3 a.m. for my time, which was 6. Insane.
That's normal Tommy time.
I know, but it was after a live that we did, and we were talking about YouTube, and it is an interesting conversation, but I think at the end of the day, sometimes it can consume you, and I think for me, I have to walk away from it so much, like the consumption of data and analytics and sometimes just throw stuff against the wall and just see how it sticks. Like the chatty work with me. So it was like, okay, it started with one that had no talking. Yeah. And people kind of liked the idea, but it wasn't, they wanted the talking. So then it's like, okay, can I talk for an hour? Yeah, I can talk for an hour. It's going to be a hot mess, but, and then you spiral, you like figure out what works. But,
did you hear anything about this? I don't know if that's true or not, but
no, that's not true.
I feel like YouTube wouldn't care. Like, I don't think because
I think YouTube will catch things because sometimes you'll have a moment where like maybe there are spam accounts that follow you, and then all of a sudden you'll go and you'll like lose 50 subs, and you'll kind of
those subs you lose because people haven't liked and commented and watched 45 seconds of your video, and then that's why you lose those subs. Did you know that?
No.
There's some shows, some live shows out there that say if you want your sub to stick, you have to like the video, leave a comment, watch it all the way through, share it with 75 friends, and then your subscription sticks.
Who says that?
there's people out
What
there.
Nonsense is that? No, someone hits subscribe and they subscribe to 50 people and then they never see your video again. No. I can't believe the things that are like set out there. I think that they do cleanups is what my understanding is. They'll occasionally do cleanups on YouTube. But I don't know of anyone that has heard of anyone that's bought and had any repercussions. I mean, I at this point in time,
Tracy goes, shut up.
She's
Polo Purificated worms there. So for some, hey, I'm just saying what I heard, Chris. Okay.
Wait, who is this you're talking about?
There's it's more than one person. There's a lot of people that say this
in the reselling community.
Yes, well, technically, yeah, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No one that's watching right now, I can promise you that. But yeah, that's a legit like assumption A lot of people, a lot of people think that.
No, I mean, no,
I even heard it recently. Someone said that if you type in the chat, "I subscribe to you," in somebody's show, YouTube sees that and deletes your sub too. I heard, I
What?
heard, and that they like scientifically tested this, and that's true. So I heard that as well.
I do not get this.
Yeah. Well, every time I see it, I like screen record it and send it to Timer Tracy so we can all laugh together at it. But yes, it's a thing. I'll send it to you too now, since you want to be like, so you can see what I'm talking about.
This is absolute nonsense. Like the amount that people like overthink this whole thing. Like, go on, be consistent with your content. If your content isn't getting the views, change up your content. Like if you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, that's the definition of crazy.
Yep.
What happened? Oh, hustle couple. Okay. Yeah. Got it. So we're talking.
Dan have to hold down the live solo again tonight.
Oh no, I still have not joined one of their lives. I'm very anti-lives right now.
You're missing out. They have a good live.
I know. Well, they're great people. I did a collab with them. They're awesome. I've been anti-lives because of Tommy and Tracy. They ruined my world. They got me hooked. They got me engaged.
Way to go, Tommy and Tracy.
I know. They ruined it.
Hope he sleeps happy at night. But yeah, like you said, like a lot of people make. I think Tommy said this actually in the chat, which is perfect. Group of people that cannot grow on YouTube and make foolish excuses. Yeah, that's exactly like what it is. Like they came out of the channels like, oh, YouTube must hate me or YouTube is doing this, and I'm like, nope. YouTube. And I say all the time, like YouTube wants all of your videos to pop.
Yeah,
because they make way more money if all your videos pop. It's not like they're pushing you down. Like. It's definitely not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that. I mean, were you the one? You were the one that had the guy on. That was a really fascinating conversation, and I'm terrible at pitching your lives.
Yeah, it was guy. Nate. Yeah, Nalter Cards. Yeah.
Yes, and I watched that whole thing.
Yeah, he's actually someone else I just met online just randomly, and we became really good friends too. And he's an awesome dude. Yeah.
But like his story of like he got the ultimate boost, like what everyone dreams of, and then it ruined it. And I think so many people there's so many people that will ask for like a shout out or, hey, can we? And it's like, that's not actually going to grow your channel. My battery's dying. So now I've got to move inside.
Oh no.
I know. This is what happens but we can say goodbye to the.
Oh no, the view's gone.
I mean, this is what happens. How long do your lives usually go?
They usually end 7 minutes ago, but we can still go. They're usually 2 hours long, but we can make it a little bit longer. This is a good conversation.
Oh my gosh. Oh geez, what did they do over there? I have some neighbors that like put something out, like they're having some sort of event or something. Oh geez. Anyways, I'm gonna ignore that. Anyways, yeah, I think that the problem with YouTube is there's so many people who jump on and they like want that quick growth, and I think the quick growth is the unhealthy growth, because if it's organic and it's natural and it's people finding you and watching and engaging and all of that stuff, they're going to stick around. They're going to keep watching. But if it's just that blast, like the Mr. Beast blast, it's like they watch that one thing, they subscribed, and then it's like they're not really there for you.
And that's what he said too. Is like he said, anytime I made Mr. Beast content, I would get views.
Yeah,
he's like, that's not the content I wanted to make. I wanted to make Nalter Deeds content.
Right.
And kind of like this the same thing. Like people say, like, oh, I only grew because I got a shout out from this guy or this guy. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I got like 200 subs a day or whatever for like a couple of days from that thing. But if my content was trash, that would just kill my channel too, because then they'd be like, oh, I don't want to watch this guy because he's whatever it is. So I feel like they said, he said the best way to do it is just continue to put out good stuff, better videos, and that's the way it's going to stick. Kiwi Bird wants to know, how long does it take to be monetized? It's not like a time spans is you need to meet two requirements: 1,000 subscribers and was it 4,000 watch hours? Right? I don't remember anymore.
I think that's it. Yeah.
But a lot of people, like, I think the mistake people make is they see monetization as like an end goal. Like, oh man, I can't wait to get monetized, and then they kind of like stop. And I'm like, monetization is just like the beginning. You just start at the monetization because, let's say, like we said in the beginning, you can be making pennies a day for a while even after you're monetized. So it's not like you like become a millionaire as soon as you hit those things.
I actually see quite a few channels that actually, I mean, where I'll engage a little bit and then they get monetized and then they drop off because they realize that first couple months it's like, oh, I'm making $20 and I've spent a year trying to get monetized and I've spent all this time, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm so far from actually making this worthwhile and I've already invested all this time.
Yeah.
Do you think an investment of time is good if there's a plan in place? A plan in place of, is there an exit strategy? And I've talked about this before of, are you doing YouTube because you want to be famous? Good luck. Are you doing YouTube because you want an additional revenue stream? Give yourself 3 or 6 months. And if you're not monetized and making a decent amount in that amount of time, then you're probably going to be spending a lot more time on that than,
yeah.
Then would be worth it. Because we all know what it's like to actually go and list an additional 5 items each day is equivalent to what it would be like to make a couple of videos each week. So I think it's being realistic with it. And if you just like to do it for fun, then do it for fun. And your heart won't get broken, hopefully, of not having the growth. But
yeah, that's I say all the time. When somebody asks me about any YouTube growth from it, I always ask, what is your goal with this? Like, what do you want to accomplish? Because the advice is going to be completely different on what path you take. So that's definitely really good. You have to have 4K subscribers, 1K watch hours, and subscribe to play. There we go. Both channels and all of Courtney's 65 channels.
Oh my God. It's funny how many times like an idea comes up and I'm like, I should just create another channel. Like something just popped. Like I was gardening the other day and I was like, I should maybe just create a gardening channel. And then I'm thinking like, Courtney, like what the hell? No, you can't
just do like can you just do it like a live cam from your outside and make that a channel? Just
where it's like no work.
Just put some soothing music to it and just like people can like remember when that what was it like a giraffe was being born or something, or some like bald eagle was being born?
It was a bald eagle. Mm-hmm.
And like everybody was like just like watching that live stream, and there was nothing happening, just like an eagle sitting on an egg for like 12 hours straight.
It was in Bear, not Bear Valley because that's by me. The other Bear Mountain, whatever the other bear in Southern California. Yes, the eagle was born, and it was like people were just watching this.
So there was a giraffe in April. Okay, so that's what I remember. There was another one happened just in April for giraffe too. Yeah, and people just like were just like glued to the thing. That's a good idea. Super chat to feed the birds. Every time they super chat. See, man. all these great ideas for your channel. I watched live streams of bears catching salmon in the stream.
Me too, Tracy. I love the chunky bears. Oh my gosh, the chunky bears, and they like oh God, it's so good. That's like my happy place. Watching chunky bears catch salmon on a live stream. This is what my life has turned into. I see no one. I watch chunky bears online on YouTube. Oh my God.
You have it made. You have it made.
I'm obsessed too. Tracy and I have so many similarities. I almost feel like when we meet, we're going to be disappointed with each other. I feel like there's that pressure.
Well, don't set the bar too high. You'll never get disappointed.
We'll have some wine and it'll all be fine.
There we go. All right. So I think I'm going to have to cut it here, Courtney. Sorry to do this, but can I have you back? Can I schedule you by like 12 months from now or something?
Yeah.
I feel like we just scratched the surface and there's a lot I want to keep talking to you about. But,
did people even come? I can't see any of the numbers, but yeah.
Yeah, we had like 60, 70 the whole time. I'm very happy with that.
All right.
60, 70 educated, gorgeous, handsome people. Every one of you that's watching. Oh, Chris is going to propose when you see her. Okay.
Oh man, now my dog's going crazy, so I really do need to go.
Oh, there we go. So
It's a wild
thank you
animal.
guys all for coming. We're gonna end the show. If you guys are not subbed to Cordy, all stuff is down below. Then come back next week because I have Bob Buys on. She was in the chat today, and
Nice.
should be on next week. So I'm excited for that. Any final words?
That's it. I got to go rescue my dog.
There we go. That's a great final word. Good night, everybody.